I played 2 whole years of Stardew Valley overmodded, so here's a summary of year 2. It's been another great year of progress. We've had a lot of fun on the streams and in all the compilation seasonal videos. We've added so many new mods. Some have been a lot of fun, some have caused us a lot of problems, and unfortunately we had to remove them, but nonetheless we are here and we have already started year 3 on stream. So let's have a look at the entirety of year 2 and see just how much progress that we made. We're back in year 2. So what's new, you may ask? Well, dear friends, let me tell you. We can now make syrups out of flowers. We can do more with sweet gem berries. We added Grumpleton Fields to give us loads more space for orchard. We added a socializing skill to help us with all the friendships we've got to make. We added Mastery Extended, which will give us even more options when we achieve Mastery, hopefully this year. And of course, we added a new mod for even more crops, the Plentiful Harvest mod. So I have to thank Belligerent Chicken and Fiona Danger for suggesting some of these mods. I gotta update you briefly on how these mods are working out. This is not modded anymore. I think we're gonna have to call this a modded plus series. So many things now can be turned into juices, wines, everlasting flowers, syrups, teas, perfumes, just about everything possible when they shouldn't be able to, as some mods are telling machines to look at the ID tags and not just the names of the items. So we do now have a whole load more items that we can collect, and it's exciting if you ask me. But let's get into day 1. On day 1, we made it so we could have 2 more styles of quail and 1 more turkey. We met Kent as we left the house after his return to the valley, and Kimpoy mentioned he would be selling more trees. We started with some decorating, making a path to the stables and to Leah's statue, finding a letter from Gunther with the cowboy dinner recipe. Robin sent us the processor, blender, nut cheese press and oil maker recipe. Gus had subscribed us to the Plentiful Harvest cooking magazine, and the beautiful June had said farewell until next year. We scythed away the dead winter crops, added the crystal chair into forever storage, picked up the spring seeds we already had, and bumped into Ian at the bus stop. We helped him with his deliveries around the area, afterwards spending some time with Trini and Kiahi in Ridgeside as we tried to give Tot some delicious food. And then we met Naomi, who is Shiro and Yuma's mother. Looks like today is going to be a lot of cutscenes. The mayor offered us a small area outside of the village to use for whatever we wanted, and at Pierre's we stocked up on our spring seeds. We ended up with parsnips to further the monster crops mods, beans, chayotes, cranberries, rose hips and hardy kiwis for the trellis spots. Fritillaria, peony, freesia, jazz, tulip, iris, dahlia, bluebonnet, rose and chamomile were bought for new honey types, and from Plentiful Harvest we bought lentil and carrot seeds. The first day of spring is already super busy. We put walls between the sprinklers to stop the weeds, got those trellis crops in, shipped to Gentian, put 10 of the flower seeds down, and harvested the first animal products of the season, adding a gold large quail egg into forever storage. We got parsnips, agave, bamboo and lentils down and watered before ending the first busy day there. On day 2, Naomi was here to tell us a cafe was now open at the hotel lobby for us to visit, and Marnia let us know in the mail she had a new tree that could calm animals available for purchase. We watered the bamboo and lentils as they weren't covered by iridium sprinklers yet, and making some more space we got the carrots and rhubarb down too, and these will also require some watering until we get the iridium we need. Our first iridium turkey egg, iridium brown egg and iridium duck feather went into forever storage, and talking to Victor in the graveyard we found out one of the gravestones here was for his cat Chewy, who went missing when he came back to the valley. We accepted the prismatic jelly quest, though we wouldn't complete it this week, found a bomb in Kent's trash and set it off by accident, and maybe he brought that home from the war, who really knows. In the secret woods we found some hidden luck, shipping it off with some Mysteria and Fairy puffballs for shipping completion. And heading to Robin's we ended up having the lovely cutscene with Maru where we stargazed together. The wizard asked us to collect his magic ink from his ex-wife, we added a silver rosefinch feather to forever storage, and off to bed we went. On day 3 we scythed away the grass near our house, accidentally destroying the tree seeds we'd put down during winter and replaced them with pine and mahogany. We asked Robin for a deluxe barn upgrade, and after gifting Krobus a horseradish, we bought from them a Joja Cola All-Star. And from some Joja boxes we got our first Joja Cola Fantasy and Joja Hydro. We spent 10 grand at the Statue of Uncertainty as we'd chosen the wrong farming professions last year, and headed into the Mutant Bug Lair to collect the Dark Talisman. Deciding to fish here we got our first Slimejack and Lamprey before heading to Clint for a copper watering can upgrade. Gunther got a bone for the museum, and returning to the Bug Lair we completed the bug killing challenge and caught our first Snatcher Worm, Trahira and Piranha. Heading home we saw Lewis telling Marnie their relationship would have to remain a secret. We found some new planty mush trash and used the Dark Talisman to open up the swamp. Said hi to Zik, got our first blushing slime cap and brown amanita. The lamprey, piranha, trahira, snatcher worm and gold quality carp went into forever storage. The trash got its plenty mush, the new Joja Cola was stored away with us deciding now to sell off any extras we get, and we went to bed. As we slept, the Joja Mart was hit by lightning. We chose our professions and got our first level up in the socializing skill. On day 4 we picked up a lilac pansy ready for Kent's birthday, shipped a forest chamomile for completion, added a normal quality large quail egg, void egg and duck feather into forever storage, got a load of fruit from the underground cave, and as it was a rainy day, found our first bear-tooth rustler. Sam and Sebastian were asking for some music inspiration and Kent got his birthday gift. On our way home we had a chat with Andy about his old friend who went bankrupt and lost their farm, and how to say this, but Marnie was throwing away a dinosaur egg. We stored it away to incubate later, shipped a moon maiden for completion, and continuing the mushroom gathering found some chestnut mushrooms, Dyer's polypore, and beefsteak fungus. We joined Abigail in the rain to play some music together, and found Marlon looking over the grave of past guild members, and he invited me to future meetings concerning the guild. Continuing on, we found a clustered coral and wrinkled peach, gifted Zik some void mayo to move him out of the way, and after talking to Electo got the wizard's ink. Fishing here a little got us some void algae, mud skipper and void minnow, and they all got added into forever storage at home, with many new mushrooms we'd found today shipped for completion. Socializing leveled up again as we slept, and on day 5 we got a silver quality turkey feather into forever storage. We shipped an everlasting sweet pea for completion, harvested our parsnips and carrots, ordered a new coop from Robbins, found some key seasoning in the trash, unlocked the final bundle, got another voiced gold pendant because you can never have enough, and donated a starfish to the museum. We bought some asparagus and parsley from Pierre, and Willie told us about the king salmon we could fish up in the woods. Reeling at how expensive the mini pigs are, we opted to buy instead 2 sheep called Felm and King Jadwiga, as well as 2 ewes called Jampot Bong and Jampot Bang, and thanks to those who hang out on the streams for the great names. We also got the animal catalogue so we can shop at Marnie's when she's not there, buying some forget-me-not and borage seeds for some more honey types, as well as butter and bee balm seeds for future honey seasons. The wandering trader got us another rare seed, and the wizard in thanks for his ink gave us access to his catalogue to build obelisks and other lovely things. We used our parsnip harvest to get some king parsnip seeds, crafted 3 moss quality sprinklers, planted down the parsley and asparagus, and got the king parsnips down in a new crop area next to the bees, filling the extra crop spots we had with carrots and mixed meadow seeds. In the mail, as we'd forgot to check, we received our first plentiful harvest recipe, this being ketchup, and we headed to bed. On day 6, we had a decent haul of wine and jam to ship for cash. We picked up our watering can and spent so much money on coal to be able to craft 8 new beehives, because it's finally time to start the honey empire. We planted down some cantaloupes and sived away an area east of the tree farm for the bee empire, and like I said, it's only 8 for now, but over time this entire raised area will be just for honey. It will be a good source of income, and we're going to be needing a lot of honey too to complete all the artisanal goods. The first clown loach was caught, and we slept. The Queen of Sauce taught us how to make pizza on day 7, and our first sacred lotus was ready for harvest. We set 1 up drying, 4 to make wine, and 1 to pickle before shipping off an everlasting daffodil which was now ready. Some of the sacred lotus were shipped with 1 of each quality going into forever storage. We bought raspberries to replace the harvested lotus, found a new shirt, bought shears for the sheep and our new rare seed, Book of Combat 1 and Deluxe Joja Cola from the Wandering Trader, and from the box we got a new one, Joja Discovery. Raspberries planted, we cleared out the quarry and had a chat to Rosa about some questionable food she had tried to cook up. And just before bed we put into the everlasting flowers chest gentian, snowdrops, lilac pansy, marshmallow, crocus, sweet pea, daffodil and dandelion of all qualities to start stocking up for the forever collection. Socializing leveled up as we slept, teaching us how to make a bouquet, and we learned a second grilled cheese recipe in the mail. We shipped off a carrot from the plentiful harvest mod for completion, storing 1 of each quality away. And Monday of each week looks like it will be turning into a big sorting day where we look over the past week to see what can be stored away or shipped off to progress this challenge. So let's start our newest section for our series, Sorting Day. A dwarvish helm, prehistoric hand axe, rusty spoon and palm fossil went into forever storage, as did soapstone, slate, neptunite, marble, granite and jasper. The mystery wallpaper went into furniture, peppercorn went into a new spice chest, all qualities of blackberry, grape, raspberry, cannoli, almond, wild strawberry, petite lemon, coconut, salal and cinnamon were forever stored into fruit. Into herbs went all qualities of rosemary, hardy rosemary, cindersnap, sage and violet flax. And into flowers went all qualities of avaloon, and each quality and color of chrysanthemum. Vegetables got all qualities of fire beans, hops and tomatoes. We set up a chest to start crafting the amber mod items, putting in lots of sap, a fan, nautilus shell, amphora, chicken statue, as well as 2 amphibian fossils and glass shards. And so end storage time. A new round of honey was ready, getting us our first peony, tulip, blue jazz and freesia honey. We shipped off the blue jazz and tulip now as it's not needed, as well as the first freesia and peony, which will continue to grow all season. With the new coop finished, we got that dinosaur egg incubating, moving our 2 ducks to the new coop so the dinosaur can hatch later. At Robin's, we asked for our second of 4 silos and bought an end table from her. We bought some onions from Pierre, accepting the Juicy Bugs Wanted quest, asking Clint for a copper hoe upgrade, got those onions down and turned our attention to the binning mod. We crafted the composter and trash bin, put them in a chest just for this mod with a grilled cheese made with key seasoning on the table next to it, denoting this area as the binning mod's final resting place. So a little progress now to finishing up that mod, which is nice. We added goat's cheese to forever storage and crafted some wild strawberry, valerian, mugwort, thistle, wild raspberry, violet flax and rose flax bushes, scything away an area in the southern end of the farm which will be for bushes. We set up some paths between them as we want the farm to be pretty and not just all lumped together, getting a chest down as well to automate the collection of the bushes. And I think as we add more bushes, this area is going to look quite good. And with that, the busy Monday was over. On rainy day 9, more lotus was ready, as well as our first chayote, rose hips, agave and lentils. Our first silver wool went into forever storage and we shipped off a chayote, lentil, agave and rose hip for shipping completion. We cooked an unkey seasoned grilled cheese and fish casserole for the binning mod forever collection and stored away 1 quality of all the new crops from today. We bought some fenugreek, dill and bluebonnet seeds and headed to the bug lair and mines to start the juicy bug quest, ending with only 22 meat that day. On the way home, we found our first blue capped polypore, quickly getting those crops planted down before sleeping, and I almost forgot to mention as well, the strange capsule had landed a few days earlier. The hand watering grind was getting tiring on day 10 and we were hoping for more iridium soon, harvesting our first cranberry beans, shipping some off and storing 1 of each quality away. We got our first gold quality feather, meaning we can now ship any others we gather, and our ewes gave us our first ewe milk. We bought the big chest recipe from Robin to help us with storage and did some gifting. Clint got an amethyst before we picked up our hoe and talked to him about a sword he was making. Vincent got a grape for his birthday, George a leek and Evelyn a fairy rose which maxed out our friendship with the 2 of them, and Luna got a diamond before we headed to continue the quest for bug meat. Ending the day with 22 new pieces and a pair shipped for completion before sleeping. We got that big chest and 4 looms crafted at the start of day 11, being able to make a new iridium sprinkler after finding 1 more piece of iridium ore in the mines yesterday. King parsnips were ready and looms were placed down before 1 of each quality was stored away next to their previously ethered brothers, with 1 shipped alongside a chamomile for completion. The animal product chest was upgraded and moved to be closer to the animals. Our first silver and gold ewe milk went into forever storage and we finally had a spare turkey feather to ship off for completion. We shared an apple with Leah down at the forest before the wizard asked us to try and grow some new magical crops that like to eat cake. Our first caterpillar fungus was found before we dropped 50k on 2 auto grabbers to save us time in the future, and after placing them down it was to the mines again for book hunting and we got another 22 pieces. An amber fan, nautilus fossil and amphora were ready for shipping, and then we slept. On day 12 we received the tomato soup recipe in the mail with a round of hardy kiwi, chayote, rose hips, bamboo and parsley ready for harvest. Kiwi, bamboo and parsley were shipped off for completion and 1 of each quality was stored. 1 new honey was ready for us, fritillaria honey, and we shipped off the flower too as it can grow back later. A new rare seed was bought, as well as watermelon, potato and cauliflower seeds which all got planted down. After we did some requests, giving Penny a golden pumpkin for 7.5 grand, Rosa got a peach and Robin a parsnip. At the guild, Marlon congratulated us on getting a galaxy weapon, with another bug meat grind getting us 21 pieces. Gabriel attacked Zanir in the guild, mistaking her for a skeleton, and he revealed to me he had been having nightmares about the night his mum died and he agreed to go get some help. Gil had the insect head and hard hat for us, which both got stored away, and we completed all qualities of wormwood too, before shipping off an amber frog and amber chicken. Our first butter and ewe cheese had been made, so we got it stored away, with the extra ewe cheese shipped for completion, and that night we made a tiny profit. Socializing leveled up as we slept, and we got another cranberry bean harvest waiting for us on day 13. Another decent haul of wine and jelly was shipped, and off we went to the egg festival buying the lawn flamingo, plush bunny, 2 seasonal plants, colourful set, pastel banner and decorative pitchfork to get them ticked off as completed. Pierre was also selling wasabi for next season, so we stocked up with 100 seeds, winning the contest to get an extra prize ticket. Items stored away and plants placed down outside. We did some decorating at the bottom of the trellis area, hanging up the pastel banner and headed to bed. Our raspberries were ready to harvest on day 14 and we shipped off an amber crystal ball, Fenugreek was also harvested and both crops had one of each quality stored away. We found the cantaloupes also ready when we visit our animals, setting up 4 to make wine and 1 to pickle. The raccoons got their dried strawberries and coconut jelly, rewarding me with the raccoon journal. Another rare seed and Book of Mining 1 was purchased from the wandering trader. We dropped off 100 bug meat for Willy, planning on getting the remaining amount needed today as it was our final chance, also buying the training rod from here as well. We found a faded photograph to add to the trash collection, buying some kale and fritillaria from Pierre before using our prize tickets to get some artifacts troves, a new houseplant, and the Stardew Valley Almanac. We read that book to check it off as read, meaning we now just need it once more for storage. We finally found our first spring onions after 2 years and hung out in the bug lair until we got that final 100th piece of bug meat. We bought the sign of the vessel just to have it checked off as completed, planted down the kale and fritillaria, shipped off 1 spring onion for completion, and stored the other 2 away into forever storage. Now we just need 1 gold quality before we unlock the cutscene with Jazz and Vincent to get the iridium quality ones. On day 15 we received the Calma recipe in the mail, and it's Monday sorting day, so this is what we got done to start the week. First we shipped off for completion a Ridgeside apple, frost apple, moon gold apricot, gem sea cashew, cinder snap cinnamon, elderberry blossoms, fenugreek, yarrow and rafflesia. Added a cave carrot into forever storage, got some pine cones, acorns, maple seed and mahogany seeds turning into amber, set the challenge to collect 300 and then 400 of the pine spruce, completing this challenge allowing us to spawn in the 2 items we can't get due to mod conflict, and I do think this is a fair compromise at this point. Shipped off dried amanita for completion and set some pine cones turning into jam, added the artifact trove into forever storage, and set some calico pistachio, fern isle olive, gem sea cashew, Grambleton walnut, cannoli almond and petite lemon turning into saplings for the future Grambleton orchard. And thus ends the Monday sorting. It was off to the desert festival where Olivia received an apple for her birthday. We got the crop tank top, a cactus, and a delicious elf quesadilla to eat. Trying to collect some calico eggs today, we chose to try and reach level 30 of the skull caverns. We had several overrun floors to deal with on the way down, but we reached level 30 coming out with an arcane t-shirt, 15 iridium ore, and 150 calico eggs, so not a bad first day at the festival. We used 1 egg to get the ancient doll from Jazz and dropped 4 grand on the wandering trader for another iridium bar. Taking a quiz to get us another 50 eggs, we called it there and headed home, getting the new t-shirt stored away and an iridium sprinkler set down. Gold wool and large ewe milk also went into forever storage, and off to bed we went. Combat leveled up as we slept, as did the socializing skill, and we chose the friendly perk. Blue bonnets awaited us on day 16, as well as cranberry beans and dill. We shipped off 1 of each for completion, and the onion and dill got 1 of each quality stored away. We spent some time scything away some grass to make a small tea sapling area, fencing it out and sticking a chest down to auto collect the leaves when they are ready. And we shipped off the first of the blue jazz honey from our small bee empire. At the Skull Festival, we ate a Skull Cave casserole today, got a skull shirt and beanie, rare seeds, and a houseplant from the Wandering Trader, and today chose to try and defeat 10 serpents. The serpents weren't really coming, so we left early to work a little on the farm, crafting 3 new iridium sprinklers, getting the new clothes stored away, adding the houseplant to the outdoor collection, moved the pomegranate and peach into the greenhouse, and decorated the area behind the stables with some paths to start to get ready to showcase the different mods are from around the farm. We got 1 area for the Joja mod down and another for the sliced fruit mod, getting the sliced powder melon, pomegranate, melon, apple, peach, coconut and strawberries done, leaving only 3 more to go. Though we have no end tables yet to display the mod, and we're gonna have to start buying a lot of them from Robin soon if we can. On day 17, the trash mod had been updated with some lovely new designs. Asparagus and rhubarb were harvested, and asparagus was shipped and 1 of each quality was stored away. We added mint, spiceberry, sweet potato, ancient fiber, peach, hot bear, pepper, and strawberries to the wine chest as we'd only made 1 previously, and we were going to need 4 to get all qualities. Harvesting more honey got us the first forget-me-not, pink cat and blue borage, and talking about the honey in stream with chat, we noticed we could turn on honey qualities, and the vote was a resounding yes to add this into this giant challenge. 1 of each blue bonnet went into forever storage, as did a normal quality large goat's milk, and heading into town we talked with Haley about her mum and dad. We hadn't yet picked up this week's request, choosing the smoky flavors on the horizon, and realizing we only need to ship 25 smoked fish, we could easily get this challenge out of the way, using a prize ticket we had to get some Stardrop tea, and it was off for the final day of the desert festival. As this was the last day, we could use our calico eggs. We bought Harvey's mallet, the radio desk and model planes, got the tight pants, beanie and skeleton shirt from Emily, a rare seed from the wandering trader, and dusk lily and wild cacao starters too. In the Skull Caverns, we got our first slime egg, completed the ghost slaying goal, got frozen by a skeleton, and to finish off our first visit to the desert festival, we bought the calico statue, desert fireplace, and desert flags. We got all the lovely new items stored away, picked up our modded saplings ready for tomorrow's trip to Grampleton, shipped the required 25 smoked fish, and slept. On day 18, we got the deluxe smoker for completing the request, adding silver large U milk to forever storage, saw Luna sleepwalking in the woods, and a visit to the wizard for King Parsnips ended up with a cutscene where we learnt the recipe to make Amanita tincture, but we would need ginger for it, so we gotta hurry up and get to Ginger Island. Dropping 50 grand on the final backpack upgrade and buying a load of parsnips, we finally headed to Grampleton. This huge area is going to be for our orchards, and with the amount of mods we have right now and the challenge to plant 3 of each tree, we have 450 trees to plant down. We laid out an area and boarded it out, leaving space where we don't yet have a third sapling for certain trees, and I think we will have each mod secluded in their own area for aesthetics. And just like that, we had 16 saplings planted of 8 tree varieties to start the Orchard Empire. And before we left, we were sure to get a path down and chest so we can start auto-harvesting everything later. On day 19, we received the pumpkin bread recipe, planted down all the parsnips, and bought 2 pigs with the stream chat naming them and Oinkerton. The wandering trader sold us a spring onion as we are struggling to find them, the usual rare seed, and a misclick ended up with us getting the Joji catalog. Now of course we were gonna need this eventually, but did we need it right now? Certainly not. Anyway, we spent the rest of the day getting some paths down at the south side of the farm to make our travels through the area easier. We shipped off a thistle for completion, stored away a raincoat we found chopping wood, completed the iridium sprinkler area, added the base game mushrooms into forever storage, and started the task of cooking up all the recipes before sleeping, making some fruit juice, sashimi, and bean hot pot. An explosion was heard in the night, and on day 20 we shipped some amber earrings, amber bangle, and amber pendant for completion. Amity was in the animal pen, and we named our newly hatched dinosaur Mika Mika after a new person to join our streams. We shipped rose flax for completion, gave Shane a hot pepper for his birthday, maxing out his friendship, and bought 3 lilac saplings for the Grampleton orchard. Heading out, we had a chat with Shane about cleaning up the bottles he had thrown out in the past, and after 2 years and 18 days, we finally found our second batch of spring onions in the wild. We overheard Sophia talking about some medicine she takes, but we told her we hadn't heard anything, and in town, Shane was trying to make a commercial for a JoJo competition. Yet another cutscene saw us seeing Sophia leave the clinic, so in a bid to cheer her up, we went to pet the best boy, Dusty. From Pierre, we bought 3 apricot and orange saplings. We started a new area just for the base game trees, though we are starting to struggle for stone and wood right now, afterwards getting those lilacs down in the area too. 3 more tree types and 9 more trees to check off the list. Deciding to fish a little on the way home as we still don't have level 10 turned out to be worth it as we collected the final Joji Cola we had been missing, meaning we now have completed our first mod. We cooked up some cranberry, lemon and lime juice and headed to bed. On day 21, we saw the Queen of Sauce teaching us how to make a complete breakfast, Shane taught us how to make empanadas and a strange bun, and Pierre was now selling bouquets. The pinecone gem was ready, so we shipped one off and added the other to the pine mod chest, and the change we had made to the Better Beehives mod was now giving us iridium honey, though I thought the qualities were going to be randomized. We shipped off a forget-me-not, gave Evelyn a leek she had requested, and bought 3 pomegranate seeds and a bouquet as we decided on stream Shane was going to be the one we would marry first. Shane of course accepted. We got those saplings down and decorated the orchard a little more. We started chipping away at our friendship with Zik, got the strange capsule moved to its forever home, and before bed worked on some more recipes. The roots platter, moss soup, grilled cheese, stuffing, survival burger, and algae soup before sleeping. On day 22, we received the banana bread recipe and started to cook 1 more of each food we already had, as we'd need to key season some later. But I think I didn't need to do that as you can't season them after making them, so a little bit of a mistake there. Anyways, we got 2 carp, hot peppers and coconut into the oil maker to make some new artisanal products and set up forever chests for the Amanita mod, dried goods, the everlasting crystals and honey, so we suddenly have a good new chunk of stuff that we can check off as collected. Fritillaria was ready to harvest, and we added a normal quality speckled feather and silver extra large milk into forever storage. One of each of those flowers was stored away, and 3 were added to turn into everlasting flowers. The final week of spring also meant cherry blossoms were ready for harvest, and we picked up a collared shirt before having a gifting day. Marnie got a diamond, Shane a pizza, Robin spaghetti, Haley a coconut, Vincent a wild strawberry, Caroline a meadow violet, maxing out our friendship, Jody a diamond, and Clint an amethyst. The stream chat chose the prismatic jelly as this week's quest. We didn't find it today at the mine, but we did get a small magnet ring for forever collection. Wormwood was shipped off as we hadn't done it yet, and we slept. On day 23, we got the fugu recipe from Willy, and all our parsnips were ready. A gold large ewe milk was stored away, and we used all those parsnips to buy 50 king parsnip seeds instead. We bought 3 peach saplings from Pierre and a new batch of parsnips, got the saplings planted down, said hi to Zik, and in the village saw Caroline, Jody, and Olivia talking about their kids. At the saloon, we played Jury to the Prairie King with Abigail and got 12 more tapas set down in the tree farm. We set up some maple syrup turning into maple butter to get new artisanal items producing, planting down all those parsnips before stocking up on wood and sleeping. Socializing leveled up as we slept, and on day 24, Abigail had sent us the stuffed pumpkin recipe. Our watermelons were ready to harvest, so we shipped one off, stored away each quality, and headed on to the flower dance. We bought all the furniture here we didn't have yet, including our next rare crow. Dried bamboo went into forever storage, and we set morels and chanterelle drying. It seems like day 24 didn't have much to it. On day 25, we got our first speckled void egg, though I'm unsure how the speckled fowl laid it, so we stored it away into forever storage, though in summer, let's get that egg incubated. Today was to be the day that we proposed to Shane, but instead we found him in a bad way at the cliffs and took him to the doctors to get his stomach pumped. So instead of proposing, we visited our raccoon friends and gave them some dried mushrooms and cave carrots, which got us the raccoon hat, which our lovely horse will start to wear later. Marnie showed us how to make cheese wheels, meaning we can now get more money from cheese. We had our checkup with Harvey and bought 2 cherry and apple saplings from Pierre. Heading to Grambleton, we got them down, and that now means we got all the trees for the base game until we can get the final 2 from Ginger Island. Willie showed us how to make quality bobbers, and as it had been a rainy day, we could ship off new mushrooms, an angel wing, honey fungus, short-stemmed russula, blue-capped polypore, and medusa mushroom. On day 26, Shane was at our door to apologize for what had happened, and I told him I was glad that he was still here. And in the mail, we got the recipe for soy meat. We bought a pink plush seat from the wandering trader, saw Shane gift Jazz some bunny jewel slippers, and met the cutest chicken in the game, Charlie. And after all of this, after seeing Shane and all of his struggles, I proposed, and the wedding will be on the first day of summer. We found a woodcutter's weekly, which we can now add to forever storage, and grinding for that prismatic jelly, we finally got it at 12:30 in the morning. But we did get it, and I'm so relieved because that's one less request for us to do in the future. At home, we finally shipped off some butter for completion, and we headed to bed. Day 27 was another rainy day, and Shane was here again inviting us to go to the Tunnelers game tonight. We got the prismatic jelly onto a sign as proof that we got it. The wizard got that jelly, and then we helped Haley opening up a jar, before visiting Emily in a dream and seeing her meditate with some rocks. Emily was supposed to get an amethyst for her birthday, but as we were supposed to also give her one from Clint, that task took precedence, so off we went home to get another one, only to end up in another cutscene with Luna talking about how she missed her home, perhaps a place called Umui. Finally, Emily got that birthday gift, and we bought 3 lemon and 3 cocoa saplings from Pierre. Trying to buy end tables from Robin and failing, we instead bought some furniture to check it off the list, including a skull poster, modern tea table, blue pinstripe bed, calendar, workbench, 2 mini fridges, wood chipper, telephone, brick fireplace, stone fireplace, and stove fireplace. Could we have just saved it for the furniture catalog? Absolutely. Did I forget I could do that? Definitely. At Grambleton, we got those seeds down, 2 more types and 6 more trees checked off the list. And then it was time to go enjoy the Tunnelers game with Shane. The Tunnelers won their match, and Shane and I had a lovely time together. Another rainy day meant we'd found new mushrooms that we could ship off by the names of red-belted conch, common funnel, brown rollworm, scaly foliota, verdigris agaric, aspen, and snow fungus. We crafted the chocolate cake and pink cake craftables to store into the Magical Crops mod chest, got our first birch chap from our tappers, cooked a boreal plate, and headed to bed. It was finally the last day of spring of year 2, and the Queen of Sauce had the lucky lunch for us today. Rasmodius had sent us the Monster Musk recipe and Emily the Red Plate recipe. On this final day, we got all the parsnips and king parsnips harvested, setting some king parsnips to turn into pickles, wine, and to be dried out, planting down mixed seeds and spring seeds to hold the crop spots into next season. We shipped a Forget-Me-Not and Iris for completion, and enjoyed our time with Haley and Marnie's cows. The Wandering Trader had another spring onion for us as well as a sun table, and we saw the scene where Emily takes care of the injured bird. We had a prize ticket, so we got the cow decal, could finally get access to the cave mapping systems in the Adventurers Guild. We cleared out the quarry, found a bone flute on the beach, and shipped a golden aura and Chondrasta for completion before heading on to bed. New month, new mods, of course. We have a new skill, a traveling skill, new recipes in the form of the delicious foods from the Desert Festival from last season, a small addition to honey, new crops from crowbars, and an entire new area with NPCs and marriageable candidates known as Passerby Cemetery. Also, several people are asking me to add a mod where we can add Pam as a barn animal. And yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it as long as we can reach 5k subs. I will add her in. So if you want to see her, get people watching this series. All right, summer, let's go. Day 1 dawned and we missed our own wedding. Apparently skipping the wedding at the end of the spring stream means we never get to see it. So I gotta say sorry to you, and I gotta say sorry to Shane. Shane was happy that day, and we danced in front of our new home before I headed to work. In the mail, we received the hot dog recipe, and Monday sorting day began. We got new chests down for the amber mod and one for other items, getting that amber bangle, crystal ball, earrings, frog figurine, resin, and pendant stored away, setting the 6 gems that can be placed into amber also in the machine to get processing. Into the other chest went our Stardrop tea, the 2 pendants, golden pumpkin, prize ticket, treasure chest, wilted bouquet, and bouquet. The collection of everlasting gentian was finished, the shooting star and unicorn horn was shipped, unique fish got a gold spongy forma, and into fish went a normal and iridium carp, gold bullhead, and silver oyster. Fish oil, chili oil, and coconut oil got shipped and as well as stored away. We started storing away one of each seed that we had on hand. We cooked a fried egg, omelette, farmer's lunch, lobster bisque, and chowder. And so there ended the Monday sorting. It was off to Marnie's then to get the new flowers to work on the new honeys, buying a cornflower, tall mallow, giant fern, wolfsbane, honeysuckle, bunnycup, and bee balm. And at Pierre's we stocked up for the season with onions, basil, currants, dragon fruit, cucumbers, bell peppers, melons, tomatoes, blueberries, peppers, radish, hops, and even more crops. And a few more flowers for honey. Oh, we have so many things to plant this day. At the bus stop, we met a new person by the name of Grady who was looking for his son Lyle, and this week we chose to try and complete Pierre's prime produce. Josephine got a tour of our growing museum collection, and we donated the ancient doll and bone flute while we were there. And so began the planting frenzy for most of the evening, not forgetting to get a poppy down at the money-making bee farm. Dried king parsnips got added to forever storage, and the first day drew to an end. Socializing leveled up as we slept, and we woke up to mail saying that we can now visit the Passerby Cemetery. We already had some crops ready to harvest, still growing from spring, adding bluebonnet, chrysanthemum, and avaloon to be preserved forever. A silver truffle was forever stored and also shipped for completion, and we opened up a space for the new shed. Visiting Passerby, we found Byron who needed help with a fire in her home, and afterwards Maverick told us someone had stolen the gem from a statue which could give us access to the mines here, and he tasked me with finding it. Sam was attacked by a giant raptor chicken. We met Boxy and exploring here if we could pay for an enlightened buff increasing our luck, which could be good to remember should we ever go caving. We met Nikolai and Kaya, stocked upon wood, got the alleyway buffet, and slept. On day 3, we got our bamboo pole to see if that could help us get any new trash that we were missing. Robin was out on a morning run, and we had a chat with Susan about our farms. And returning to Robin, we got 2 new shipping bins and a new shed. Though there was a tree in the way, so we'll have to move the shed again later. We checked out all the new seeds Krobus was selling and fished here to get any new trash that we could. We caught our first Blinky and Decapod before managing with our bamboo pole to catch our first legendary fish. The couple, Lyle and Grady, were buying supplies from Joja even though it had closed down, so in our streams it's now canon that Grady is stealing from the abandoned Joja Mart. We downgraded to the training rod, but alas still no trash could be found. But it was all worth it as we reached level 10 in fishing that night, so now we only only have mining and combat left to open up the Mastery Cave. Traveling reached level 1 as we slept, and we could place an iridium large quail egg into forever storage, and an iridium extra large milk on day 4. Lyle was at Marnie's helping her with a new barn so she could sell new exotic pet, and as it was Jazz's birthday, we gave her a gold wild strawberry which maxed out her friendship. We said hi to Jinx, and Stream decided we should work on getting closer to getting the burglar's ring, and so off we went to slay dust sprites. We made some progress finding a glow ring in the mines, and from Gil received galaxy seeds, a rare seed, and a book of combat 2. Heading home, we shipped some fairy fingers we found at Passerby, got that ring and book stored away forever, and off to bed we went. We received the taco recipe on day 5 and could place a normal and silver cowpea today into forever storage, and one of each quality of passion fruit and basil. In place of the harvested basil, we placed down mixed seeds to see what we could get, and we also got one of each quality of wheat stored away. We started to prepare to move all of the machines into the new shed, getting the amber encased minerals into forever storage and shipping off an amber star. Giving Robin no time to rest, we asked for a coop upgrade, visited Clint as usual when he's not there on a Friday, donated a dwarf scroll, and at the beach helped Haley find her great grandma's bracelet. And with the best boy Vincent, he thanked me for repairing the bridge so he could enjoy the pools here again. A misclick ended up with us buying 20 crab pots instead of 4. We bought a rare seed and some orange blossoms, shipped a fiery dragon scale, and got all those crab pots down in the river with the recycling machine and a crab pot. Although you will notice later that the recycling machine seems to have gone missing. The evening was spent moving the chests into what I guess we will call the mod making item storage shed, or MISS for short. Truffle oil went into forever storage, and to speed up the production inside MISS, if that's a good name, please let me know. We set down 4 of each machine to speed up production, setting up our first 4 blenders so we can make fruit and vegetable smoothies. And that is going to take a whole load of milk. And then it was sleepy time. On day 6, we finished setting up MISS, set up the oil maker with a Fern Isle olive and orange blossom, and filling the blender chest ready for later that when we add milk. The first dinosaur egg got placed into forever storage, and milk started the smoothie making process. On this good luck day, we headed to the Skull Caverns, but did I forget about the shrine at Passerby with the luck buff? Of course I did. Also, Fiona Danger on stream, let me know I gotta start using better food and drink when I'm in the Skull Cavern, and I gotta agree with them at this point. Warping home later that evening, we came back with a small haul, 1 prismatic shard, and enough iridium for 3 new sprinklers. Our mining reached level 10 that night, only combat to go now, and on day 7, we woke up to the carp surprise recipe from the Queen of Sauce, with Luna from Mount Vapius giving us a Junimo satchel, essentially doubling our carrying capacity. Our first radish and canola was ready. Marnie was throwing away yet another dinosaur egg and ostrich egg, and at this point I wish she'd just be selling them to me. We got to work opening a load of geodes that we had stored away, allowing us to donate 9 new items to the museum, and it looks like now we are mostly missing the artifacts from the desert and minerals from frozen geodes. And returning to Clint to open some mystery boxes rewarded us with a golden pumpkin and combat quarterly. We stocked up on oregano, got it planted, talked to Vincent about a sea monster he saw at the beach, found some new trash, tangled kelp, gave Zinnia a pink cake for her birthday, collected our 4th femur, because you can never have too many, and gifted Gabrielle a coffee, Marlon a life elixir, and Silly a strawberry. We've decided to try and get the storylines of the Adventures Guild expanded finished so we can then turn to another expansion, which will probably be East Scarp. We did some woodcutting, and we slept. On day 8, we got the cheeseburger recipe and moved the quails over to the new coop before sorting Monday began. We got iridium large goat milk, all qualities of sea salt, and a battery into forever storage. The magnet, barbed hook, curiosity lure, trap bobber, dress spinner, and sonar bobber went into the tools chest, and making a new chest for craftables, we got all the fences, floors, sprinklers, and fertilizers we had on hand to get them checked off as collected. We shipped off some raisins, and in the miss, we got a load of fish going to start collecting pickled fish. The minerals chest got 9 new ones, artifacts got the anchor and chewing stick, and we got some new artisanal goods producing, putting almonds, apples, coconut, and lemons into a mayo maker. The golden rainbow shell was forever stored away, and to relax after all this, we kicked a ball around with Vincent and Zinnia. Pierre received his order of 25 gold crops, and we chose this week the Mount Vapius Lodge order, so we will need to pay Sandy a visit for some starfruit. Heading to the desert, we found our first calico vanilla, and Sandy got us those starfruits as well as some lemongrass, aloe, and a new shirt. And quickly as we were here, we got the casino unlocked. We shipped off the calico vanilla and the new artisanal goods, almond nut butter, apple butter, coconut butter, and lemon curd. At the Adventurers Guild, we met Zinnia's father for the first time, Daniel, who was trying to force her to come home as he didn't want to lose her after the loss of his wife years ago to adventuring. But in the end, her father relented and allowed her to stay. Marlon and Silly got a gift. We fixed up some of the broken automated path in the forest, completed the collection of rainbow shells, cooked a carp surprise, and headed to bed. Our usual busy Monday was done. On day 9, we received the bacon cheeseburger recipe from Gus, and Vincent, the best character in all of Stardew Valley, gifted us his ball after playing with him yesterday. A big harvest of onions, currants, daisies, hot pepper, cucumber, hops, and passion fruit were ready, allowing us to get 4 new crops checked off as shipped. And we could forever store 1 quality of each of the cucumbers, onions, and currants. We upgraded our bulk storage of fruit and vegetables into the infinite capacity big chest, and as it was another lucky day, we went to Skull Caverns, but still without decent food or drink. I am sorry, I will get better at Skull Cavern runs eventually. And upon returning home, we brought back just 8 iridium ore, but an iridium bar too. We stuck a spare chest into the craftables chest and we slept. Combat reached level 9 as we slept, and on day 10 Celestine let us know that we could buy a fruit press blueprint from Robin. And Maddie sent us a strange scarecrow. Fearing this creepy scarecrow, we set it down near our tapper farm, harvested our first bell peppers, planted the lemongrass, and collected 4 new honeys: Daisy, Iris, Buttercup, and Azure cornflower. We added milk to the blender to get more smoothies making, got a barn from Robin, and handed over everything to repair Willie's boat. We bought many quails, needing only 1 more now for completion, calling them Adamus, Tri, Mechanato, and Compot, shipped off a smoothie for completion, and slept. The boat was repaired as we slept, and on day 11 we woke up to some buttercups, shipping 1 off and storing the rest away forever, as well as 1 of each quality of cowpea. We completed the small area of tea saplings and also got 8 more lightning rods placed down, leaving us with only 6 more to make. Our dinosaur had hatched, so we named it Mino, and almost all of these names are either people who watch our streams or names that they suggest in the chat. So if you want to get an animal named after you, then come hang out with us while we're streaming. Today was the luau, so we got a silver strawberry thrown in, buying up all the decorations here we didn't have, as well as watermelons to plant later and kiwis for next year. Mayor satisfied, we headed home, got the new furniture stored away, and slept. On day 12 we received the steak sauce recipe, as well as the recipe to make a candy maker from Helia. We checked off pepper poppers from our cooking list, upgraded our flowers into a big chest, harvested our first oregano, getting 1 of each quality into forever storage, and walked to the beach to get to Ginger Island. Our first dig spot on the island got us 3 coconuts. We got that first golden walnut and met Leo for the first time, finding a new fruit sapodillo growing on the island, gathering just enough walnuts to get us access to the west side of the island, finding our first ginger, and we started the birdie quest line. Sleeping here overnight, we did some fishing, getting our first lionfish, clown triggerfish, and clownfish on day 13. We also got our first pineapple seed too before warping back home to the rainy farm. Here we crafted up some basic retaining soil, grass starter, and cherry bomb to get checked off into forever storage. Ginger was shipped, and Neptune's glaive was stored away, which we'd gotten from fishing. A magma cap was also shipped, a silver dinosaur egg got added to the collection, and Alex got a book for his birthday. At the saloon, we met Alan and Valerie's mother, Desiree, for the first time, but I didn't like how she was acting to her kids, so I called her rude. Afterwards, buying a salad and a beer for Leah and Andy. A rainy day of mushrooms got us some more for the collection, a silver and gold cinnamon bracket, silver and gold portobello mushroom, and to ship off for completion we got a column stinkhorn, old man of the woods, horn of plenty, man on horseback, the blusher, candle snuff fungus, and deathcap. And I do fear that this mushroom mod is going to be the one that takes us the longest to complete. On day 14, the Queen of Sauce taught us how to make maple bars, and Alex taught us how to make spinach soup. We got 2 new iridium honeys, giant fern and wolfsbane, stored away each quality of black currant, and shipped 1 off. The speckled void egg was incubated. We realized some of our flowers weren't growing as we'd never placed down sprinklers for them, and shipped off some pickled fish. Today we started clearing out the old processing area to better use later for crops or maybe showcasing mods, setting up and decorating a small area for our bulk storage. We spent some time adding to the craftable chest, making a wood fence, garden pot, text sign, stone chest, tree fertilizer, quality retaining soil, straw floor, stone floor, brick floor, staircase, crystal path, bait, deluxe bait, wild bait, bug stake, campfire, monster musk, cork bobber, bone path, bone fence, hardwood display, and wooden display before getting it all stored away forever. An energy tonic was forever stored, and olive oil, orange blossom water, and everlasting sweet peas were shipped, and we slept. The green rain was here on day 15, and we received the steak recipe in the mail, with Ken asking us to bring him a starfruit. We shipped off an azure cornflower, and for most of the day we gathered fiber around all of the other tasks we were doing. The war memento from Birdie got placed on its sign before we handed it over to Kent, getting us the gourmet tomato salt. That got added to a sign before we gave it to Gus, receiving the Stardew Valley Rose's thanks. And then we remembered it was Monday sorting day. We added some carnations to be preserved and added to forever storage, the mandrake root, hidden look, normal and gold shooting star, fiery dragon scale, golden coconut, and we added 14 more fish to be pickled before running to bed. Lemongrass was ready on day 16, so we shipped off one and got one of each quality stored away before getting the Stardew Valley Rose onto its sign and headed off to see Sandy, getting us the advanced TV remote in exchange for the flower. To the signs it was added before we talked to Alex about his terrible father and how he ended up living with his grandparents, and then Victor told us about his mum and her worries that he hadn't yet got a job in the valley. All that done, George got that shiny new remote, and in thanks he gave us the Arctic shard. Of course that got added to a sign before we handed it to the wizard and got the wriggling worm in return. Now where did this worm go? On the sign of course, before we quickly detoured to start the Fragments of the Past request. At the beach there was a bounty of forage including another fan, starfish, silky shirt, anchor, sango pearl and lumitol. Willie got the worm, getting us the final item in this quest, the pirate's locket. We shipped off that pearl and lumitol for completion, stored the shirt, and got the locket onto a sign before sleeping. On day 17, we added one of each canola to be preserved forever, got some new trash, a candy wrapper, and bought 4 turkeys from Marnie to finally have 2 of each type, and we called them Train, Wallflower, Epsilon, and Aphrodite. We opened a bunch of geodes, allowing us to get 3 new items to the museum, including the ancient seed for the recipe. And heading to Ginger Island, we got that locket to Birdie, learning us the fairy dust recipe. We fished here a little as we now knew the Jojo Cola mod was not yet complete. We caught our first yellowhead jawfish, and after a while we got one of the missing Jojo boxes, the imported premium box. Another shooting star was found, and we got the island farm renovated. Back in the valley, Joji was making some popcorn, which set off Kent's PTSD. Sam got a cactus for his birthday, and we planted on down the pineapple in the greenhouse. We got a piece of basalt and fire opal, forever stored away, and we could complete the collection of shooting stars. We crafted a crystal ball, filling it up with different minerals to get some new artisanal products being made, got 2 oil makers down at the animal processing area, automated the area north of the farm, and slept. We woke on day 18 to the next star drop, receiving the triple threat chili recipe from Sam and a request from the wizard to bring him an ancient fruit once we'd grown one. Our first dragon fruits and golden calendula were ready to be shipped off, so we did that for completion, and we stored one of each type of the fruit away. We finally had a gold quality quail egg we could store away, and after gifting Marlon, Gabriel and Silly a gift, we had to go into Gabriel's dream to help him escape from a nightmare. Turns out he blames himself for the death of his mother, and he realized that he needed to forgive himself. It was late in the week, but we started the Fragments of the Past request today, making good progress on coming out with 53 bone fragments today, and quite a good haul of iron too. We slept as our ability to walk and talk improved, and on day 19 we received the roast turkey recipe. Dinosaur mayo went into forever storage, and the crystal ball had provided our first new artisanal good, midnight lipstick, which we shipped off. The wandering trader sold us a model ship which went on our docks, and returning to her with some truffle oil, we bought 2 quartz primrose starters for the Grambleton orchard. Many of the trees here now were grown, so we got them automated. We moved the lilac saplings as I had a better design layout for this area, planted down the quartz primrose, and then got the lemon and cacao saplings moved too. We do need to come here and spend a good day decorating at some point, hopefully in the autumn, and though it was late now, we did still do a stint in the mines, getting another 22 fragments for this week's request. We shipped off a dusk lily we had harvested from Grambleton Orchard, and we slept. Day 20 was the annual trout derby that we'd missed last year. So we set up our bait maker and got to fishing, as there were 3 items we would be needing from here: the bucket hat, the mounted trout, and the golden tag, which we would need to place on a sign. We got the jewels of the sea as we fished, got the tag onto a sign, and received the bucket hat at 3:50 that afternoon before we called it there for the day and headed back to the mines for bone fragments. We hit the 100 needed, also getting some baggy pants where we were at it, and slept. On day 21, the Queen of Sauce taught us how to make pink cake, and the mayor was asking for some truffle oil. Our void speckled fowl hatched, and I thought we were going to have to turn it into meat, so I called it the sacrifice, but I was wrong, so now we have a fowl with this name forever. Gunther got a skull for the museum and those 100 bone fragments, and we traded in the prize token for completing it for more beehives. At Marnie's we bought 2 heaters and auto grabbers for the new barn and coop we had, and returning to the trout derby we fished until 4:40 when we finally got the mounted trout. I almost didn't buy the gem geode, but after being told to do so on stream, we headed back to buy it so we could incubate it later. The beehives got placed down, the trout was stored, as was a crab pot, eggplant parmesan and fish stew was cooked, and we headed to bed. Day 22 got us the chicken wing recipe and the bone meal too. A good amount of starfruit was ready, but not enough yet to fulfill the request. Monday sorting day got the jewels of the sea, bucket hat and all qualities of wild plum, a normal purple mushroom, 9 different jams, 22 different pickled items, all qualities of olive oil, all qualities of melon and wild raspberry, 12 more seeds, a silver flounder, normal and silver bream, crayfish and crab stored away forever. A bone, chewing stick, anchor, amphora, dwarf helm and fan went to be turned into amber. 9 different flowers were set to be dried, with 4 flowers and 14 crops going into the dehydrator. A large amount of fish were set to smoke, 17 fruits were set to turn into jam, and we shipped off a Stella lipstick and Aquarius lotion. Got 2 new iridium honeys, Rose and Summer Spangle. We added iridium extra large goat milk and an iridium speckled void fowl egg into forever storage. And finally, as we had reached 300 pine spruce collected, we spawned in the conifer infused vodka to ship off and store forever. And there ended the super busy Monday storage. At Grandpa's shed, we dropped off most of the stone and hardwood, and all the iron and batteries needed for reservation. Maru tried to electrocute us, but it was all in the name of science. We spent a good amount of the evening chopping trees, storing away forever a gold column stinkhorn, and slept. On day 23, we harvested the last of the starfruit we needed for Mount Vapius and upgraded the forever fish and mushrooms chest to the big version to save on a little space. We picked up a few items to complete some Mount Vapius bundles before arriving to market day there, here buying the paper flowers in a vase, accepting the Mount Vapius mineral order quest as well while we were at it. Continuing visiting the market, we bought the maturing shells recipe, cheese fritters and chapia recipes too, and many Vapius and base games artifacts. The fragment of mask, Phaon's plate, strange doll, efficiency cog, as well as the owl carving recipe. Digging in the what I think is the quarry area, we got the railroad spike and fragment of fossil too, so it was a pretty good day for artifact collecting. We completed the mushroom bundle, getting us primrose seeds, quiche, and preserves jars, and from the syrupy bundle, we got a candy maker, tree fertilizer, and velvet iris seeds. Teleporting back to the valley, Olivia told me about her concerns for Victor as he didn't have a job yet, and afterwards we gave him a battery for his birthday, maxing out his friendship. A new week meant a new request in the valley, so we chose, though I may say it was begrudgingly, the Joja Cola takeover request. At home, we stored away an iridium breastplate we had found, and we slept. On day 24, we received a thank you for helping out the Mount Vapius Lodge and learned about how it used to have connections to the Adventurers Guild. A normal void speckled feather was stored away, and we spent a good chunk of change on 300 stone for Grandpa's shed. And we started gifting everyone the very much hated Joja Cola. The reactions from receiving a bottle of fizzy drink was hilarious. We got so much hate this day. We headed to the Junimo village, detouring for the elvish jewelry and iridium meteor. Here we could get hold of a good chunk of new artifacts, the first dwarf scroll, rare disc and dwarf gadget, and we also bought 5 rare seeds and 10 ancient seeds. We depressed Clint before getting a mystery hat from a box and asking him for a hoe upgrade. Gunther got 10 new items for his museum, and the Joja hate continued after finally learning how to communicate with the dwarf. We bought a few new recipes from Gus's giant supply, and again got that Joja hate as we got it all done for the day. No more hate to spread now, thank goodness. And to finish off the evening, we got all the items needed for Grandpa's shed ready and shipped off a Ridge Wild Apple. As we woke up on day 25, we sensed something in the forest and reached 14 Hearts with Shane. Sam told us he would be performing in Zuzu City and invited us to watch, and Robin said Grandpa's shed would be finished tomorrow. For making everyone hate us, we received a soda machine, and our watermelons were finally ready for harvest. Artisanal products were ready to ship, which included an amber stone, beads necklace, anchor, toothbrush, and some dried cherry blossoms. Visiting Mount Vapius, Aster let us know the mountain was healing, and so more forage would now appear when we are here, and Celestine said if we were interested, she would make inquiries about us getting the farmland up here in the mountain. In the mountains, we made easy work of the minerals request we had accepted, as the corridors here were overflowing with so many when we arrived, and we managed to come back home with 133 minerals and geodes from Mount Vapius, which is great to get more items checked off too. Into forever storage went a normal and silver purple cup, and all qualities of lace flower as we slept. On the rainy 26th day, we learned how to make a buffalo wing. Our aloe was ready, so we stored one of each quality and shipped one off. 2 new iridium honeys were ready, tall mallow and calla lily, and we could ship off wolfsbane, calla lily, rose and tall mallow for completion. The wandering trader had the portrait of Shane for us, and we celebrated by filing for divorce. Our steel hoe was ready. Gunther received the 20 Mount Vapius minerals he requested, and also had 8 new minerals to add to his collection. Running to Gus to break geodes, we got the mystery shirt and Book of Stars, allowing us to go back to Gunther with 5 more minerals. The rainy day allowed us to find a parrot wax-capped Morchella, and on the way home we enjoyed a Big Bang from the saloon. We made a powder melon sorbet, hung up our portrait of Shane, made some cranberry candy, and spent our last night with our first husband. Lee was at the door on day 27, telling us she would be throwing an art show today we should attend, and she had sent us the recipe from Monte Cristo, with Gunther giving us a gem polisher. Our second and final void speckled fowl hatched, and we called it Leanie. We found a dark scaled knight at the train station and a scarlet elf cup. We paid to erase Shane's memory of us so that we could be his friend again, and met him for the first time shortly after. And while we were here, we decided to stock up on saplings from the Quaint Living mod, buying 3 Alamander, Lilac and Hibiscus, as well as 1 Gardenia, as we had run out of money by this point. Visiting Emily, we saw her dance, and as it was so good, we decided to give her a bouquet so that we can marry her next. We visited Leah's art show, and I was terrified by the dancing eggs. At the Grambleton Orchard, we automated all the base game trees now that they were grown, and got all the new trees planted down. At home, with all the new cooking goods, we cooked noodles, ketchup, pickled red onions, ratatouille, carrot cake, summer squash and goat cheese tart, summer squash skillet, cheese fritters, a strange bun, fried mushrooms, pizza, pancakes, bread, rhubarb, cookies, maki roll, cranberry sauce, and stir fry. And now again, it was the final day of summer, and on day 28 we learned how to make roasted hazelnuts and immediately made some for completion. Pierre had sent us the mini shipping bin, and we filled all crop spots to hold them into the autumn season. Robin met us in Grandpa's shed, and we set about finally being able to grow the ancient seeds upstairs, and after headed to watch Sam's show in Zuzu City. We cut trees until it was time for the Moonlight Jellies Festival, buying all the furniture from Pierre before we enjoyed the music and the beauty of this perfect festival. We expanded our ability to grow more types of ancient fruit. We have some cute dolls from the vanilla game Marriageable Candidate, more cooking in the form of Culinary Delight, a new set of fences for us to decorate our Grambleton orchard and farms in general. In regards to farming, we have the Forage and Grapes of Fernigal mod, so we have more things to find in the wild and the ability to make a beautiful vineyard later. A small addition to the teas we can make, and for animals, we can now milk sheep and have 6 new animal mods all by Silver Moonchan. So let's start autumn. On day 1, Willie was waiting at the door for us, asking us to catch him a bonnethead, spiny dogfish, manta ray, goblin shark, and swordfish to make a particular recipe. And in the mail, the Ferngil Vintners Association informed us of the wines that we could now make. Celestine said that we could now buy geese from Marnie, and we learnt 23 new recipes after adding new mods. The dead crops were taken out, and we finally automated the small bee farm area for our honey collection. I do still want to make this a little bigger, but for now we just have so many things pulling us in so many directions. I'm sure we will get to it eventually. It was the first Monday sorting of the season, and we added pickled king parsnips into the magical crops chest. Mount Vapia's artifacts got the copper fibula, fossilized fern, and fragment of fossil 1. Vapia's minerals got 9 new ones, which I believe completes the collection of base minerals from Mount Vapia's. Moss was stored, 36 smoked fish were placed away, as well as 31 different types of pickled fish. An everlasting chrysanthemum and blue bonnet was shipped off for completion, with an assortment of fruit and vegetables added to turn into jams and pickles. And we were able to add amber, lapis, jade, dragon fruit, hardy kiwi, blueberries, and apple jam into storage, and so ended the first storage day of the season. In town, we talked to Evelyn about how our farm was going, followed by us sharing a drink of pumpkin spiced cider with Pierre. Being a new season, it was time to make new honey, buying a snapdragon, lavender, fairy rose, dahlia, freesia, geranium, purple coneflower, pink hollyhock, purple flame, and iris before stocking up on a whole load of crops for the season. We got all the crops planted down, including all of our rare seeds that we had been collecting. We added tea leaves into kegs, preserved jars and a dehydrator, got some matcha powder cooked for completion, and slept the first day of autumn away. On day 2, Rasmodius shared with us the fairy tea recipe, Evelyn the afternoon tea recipe, and Caroline gave us the matcha roll cake recipe. Exploring in the mountains, we got our first wild leaf and asked Robin to set up our first barn in Grampleton, as I envision having all of the void animals living out here together. We finally met the dwarf for the first time, buying the big stone chest recipe and getting our next rare crow. At the library, Gunther gave a book to Zinnia after thinking he recognized the gem on her necklace, and as we read through the journal, we found out it was actually her mother's. Zinnia had doubts that her mum ever wanted her, but we put those doubts aside, and she found her mission in life, to find the haven of color that her mother never managed to find. We picked up Biome Balance for the week, gave Emily a gift to get closer to marriage, buying from Pierre sea bean, paddle, and barrel cactus to plant over in Ginger Island. New forage was found at the beach from the forager Ferngul mod in the form of hornshell and spicy weed. We stocked up on bait and headed to Ginger Island. We got the cactus down here, and they will continue to produce for us for another source of income, and we shipped off the hornshell, spicy weed, and wild leaf for completion. Returning to the beach, we found white and blue coral, getting them shipped off afterwards. The bulk seed chest was upgraded, and the 3 cactus seeds we had bought were forever stored away. Our rare crow was set down, an amber helm was shipped with an amber fan added to forever storage. Our first silver large sheep milk got stored away, and we slept. Peppercorn were harvested as day 3 began. A silver large sheep milk was forever stored away, as well as some iridium wool. Fishing, we got our first skeletal tail, continuing to fish until we got half of the Biome Balance request completed. Today was also the Passerby Cemetery Market Palooza, and there is a lot of stuff that we can buy here. We bought 2 dodo eggs to incubate later, as well as the gaggle shroom shirt, cowboy boots, sneakers, rubber boots, work boots, which is a great item to have so early on in the challenge, as well as the combat boots. Clint had a few artifacts, so we bought them. Robin had new furniture. Nikolai had candy and honey, which we will buy next year. A number of new weapons were available, and Emily had a whole array of new clothes. We bought several new recipes while we were here, as well as cave flower, dark tuff, lureberry, bell pod, and fire pepper seeds, and to finish it off, a fruit pop shirt. The new items were all stored away. We cooked up a crystal float, heavy cream, and caramel before heading to bed on day 3. On day 4, we got iridium large sheep milk and gold extra large goat milk into forever storage, and having a spare sheep milk, we got it shipped off for completion. Clint broke a load of geodes for us, getting us a mango sapling, which was very nice. We talked to Penny about why she became a teacher and donated the skeletal tail, getting us the next part of the sloth skeleton. Emily was having a fashion event at the mayor's house, and turning in some tickets here, we got a magic rock candy, stardock tea, and treasure chest. We bought the sweet gem parfait recipe from Krobus, maxed out Marlon's friendship, gave Gabrielle a coffee, and Silly a strawberry. The bookseller provided us with the books for the turkey and quail recipes, and we also bought the Way of Wind 1 and price catalog before reading them all. And we also decided to buy another price catalog while we were here to get it forever stored away. We finished off the Biome Balance request and bought all the 6 crops for winter mod recipes from Gus. Andy got a beer, Bream Row was forever stored, the greenhouse had a pineapple which we shipped off, and we planted on down some more pineapple seeds here too. Delicious sounding pickled giant tube worm was forever stored away. We crafted up the glass fence and path, cooked up carrot ginger soup and Digger's Delight, and slept the day away. On day 5, we got the chocolate milk recipe, and Gabriel invited us to the Adventurers Guild, and our reward for the biome balance was the farm computer recipe. The Wandering Trader provided us with an orange blossom and savory saffron crepe recipe. Deciding to stock up on milk for the fridge, we could cook parsnip soup, rice pudding, and ice cream before buying some saguaro and zebra cactus from Pierre, and then deciding to head onto Ginger Island with them, with also rice and taro seeds. On our way to Willy, we found our first yellow coral and ferngul scallop before getting another section of the Ginger Island farm set up. We also decided to start forever storing the succulents mod here on the island, as we'll be growing it all out on this farm from now on. Neverill was shipped, which we had in storage for completion, orange blossom water was forever stored, and we slept. On day 6, Elliot had sent us the wasabi shrimp rice bowl recipe. We found a futon bear on the way to Robin's, and now Robin had finished the barn we asked to upgrade it. We chatted to Susan about our farms, foraged in the swamp for some new black mushrooms and peach parasols, and found Penny having a picnic with Vincent and Jazz. With the barn in Grambleton now down, it was time to start the Void Ranch. We bought 4 cows called Foxel, Charles, Empty, and Charles, meaning we already have collected all of the Void cow types. In the forest, we found Night Shadow, Bonbons, and Fire Snappers, shipped off any new items from today, gifted Emily, maxing out the friendship, meaning we can now propose to her, and we also added 2 qualities of black mushroom that we had found into forever storage before sleeping. Day 7 welcomed us with rain, with the Queen of Sauce teaching us how to make fruit salad, and Emily asked us to join her in the woods tonight. The south part of the farm, which is often filled with random seeds, got us our first barley, celery, and dahlia, which we shipped off, and this was the day that we started resetting some of the world, now that Stardew Valley Expanded had just received a major update, which will give us new trees, crops, artifacts, and a whole lot more. We got our first fir cone, and the rains provided mushrooms. Our first Stardew Valley Expanded artifact was found and given straight to Gunther. We bought a mermaid pendant and gave it to Emily, meaning marriage number 2 is about to begin. The Lunatone grape from the grapes of Ferngul was found outside Sophia's, and the Hat Mouse provided us with the good old cap, lucky bow, cool cap, butterfly bow, mouse ears, delicate bow, and trophy clip. In the secret woods, we found our first coral tooth fungus. We turned that Lunatone into a grape starter, and we slept. Recipes greeted us in the mail on day 8, receiving the chocolate bar, fish dumpling, ramen, and stuffed persimmon. The first of our sunchoke was ready, 1 was shipped, and each quality was stored, and we filled up that empty space with autumn crops from Passerby Cemetery. A normal speckled void egg and gold speckled void feather could be forever stored, and the Monday sorting began. Earth Cleanser, Capricorn Lotion, Fire Cleanser, Water Cleanser, Air Cleanser, Dusk Lipstick, and Greed Blush was shipped and stored for completion. An Amber Cog and Junimo figure were also shipped. 11 jams were stored, as well as pickled fairy fingers. 8 dried goods were stored away. Black tea was shipped. Everlasting giant lilac pansies and giant snowdrops were shipped, with all others created stored away forever, and we added sunflowers and summer spangles to be eventually preserved. A slime gem, birch sap, pine tar, oak resin, and maple syrup were stored. Normal silver and gold pike, the mutant carp, a silver bull trout, silver albacore, snail, periwinkle, lobster, white algae, green algae were all stored away, and into the crystal ball went all the Mount Vapius minerals. Into artifacts went the strange doll, dwarf scroll 2, prehistoric tool, prehistoric rib, and arrowhead, and we cooked up a fish dumpling, ramen, and almond bar, which ended the Monday sorting. At Pierre's, we bought some sweet potato seeds and the 2 gardenia saplings we didn't yet have, and decided to choose the aquatic overpopulation request to get completed this week. The saplings got planted down, wild cacao was picked up to ship. We fished a little to start the aquatic overpopulation request, and then had a romantic night in the woods with Emily. On day 9 it was raining again, and our salsify was ready. An iridium grenadier, iridium and gold sea spider got forever stored away from yesterday's fishing, and the salsify was shipped with 1 of each quality stored away. Sweet potatoes were planted, and we gained 4 new honeys today: lavender, freesia, purple flame, and dahlia. We headed to Mount Vapius to complete more bundles, accepting the Mount Vapius monster goals while here. And as it was market day, we bought some paper flowers, the rye bread recipe, sunroot seeds, iridium ore, passion rouge grapes, and an industrial pipe. The Earth Secrets bundle was finished for some bombs and a gem polisher, and from the treasure hunt bundle we got some artifact troves and our second gem, geode. We fished to further the aquatic overpopulation request, added sea spider roe to storage, and placed the gem polisher down we got in the shed to start working on new artisanal products before sleeping. On day 10 we married Emily, and Pam was asking for some Myriadan tea. The south of the farm provided us with our first purple cone flower, and all qualities could be stored away. as well as 4 being sent to be preserved eventually. The rain yesterday had left us with several mushrooms to gather, a ridge puff mushroom, stalk cluster and bleeding fairy, and at Robin's we asked for the shed to be upgraded, and Andy talked to us about how he was unsure of us when we arrived in the valley, but now we were good friends and he was proud of everything we had achieved. The town had a tooting funnel for us, and we expanded the Void Ranch with 2 goats called Jacko and Nida, as well as 2 sheep called Trelawney and Tangerine, 2 more animals to check off the list. The Void Ranch got an auto petter, speckled void mayonnaise was stored forever, and heading to the beach with a bait maker, we got the aquatic overpopulation quest completed before sleeping. Our socialization skill leveled up as we slept, and on day 11 we had a whole load of new crops to harvest. 1 of each quality of 4-corner potatoes, garnet sweet potatoes, hopnis, oyster nut, ube, sweet granadilla, clematis and wild rice were stored away, with 1 of each shipped. 4 of the clematis were added to be preserved forever, and we bought a whole load of new seeds to fill in those empty spots. Clint broke a load of geodes and boxes for us, which got us the golden mask for the museum. We drank a monster musk and headed to the mines to work on vanquishing 70 slimes for the Mount Vapius quest, and we got the whole thing done by 9:40 that night. In celebration, we bought the mushroom berry rice and frog's leg recipe, got all the crops down that we had bought today, and slept. The raspberry tart recipe welcomed us on day 12. We harvested our first blue corn, shipped 1 off, and stored 1 of each quality away after upgrading the vegetable chest. The shed upgrade was done, meaning we can ramp up our artisanal good making, and at the wandering trade we picked up a book of foraging too, and from the bookseller picked up the quail and turkey recipe books for collection, and old Slitherlegs and Horse the book to read. Robin was put to work again on a coop for the Void Ranch. We got a fancy houseplant for turning in a ticket, crafted fairy dust for completion, made a chest for femurs as we've now decided to see how many we can get on this playthrough, and we were blessed to finally get the missing golden quality salmonberry we needed for storage before sleeping. On day 13 we gained 2 new honeys, geranium and purple coneflower. We bought wax agave from Pierre, and the Mount Vapius market day turned out to be very worthwhile as we ended up with 4 more sprinklers and an iridium bar. We also stocked up on a number of items we don't have yet in the form of 2 pride banners and shirts, 3 of Moira's confections clothes, and a VGA Paradise from the Wandering Trader. Saturday was decided to be forage day at Ridgeside, and we collected the Autumn Drop Berry, Highland Chard, Highland Butterwort, Lava Lily and Summit Snowbell. We saw a heartwarming cutscene between Blair and her mum. Maeve was discussing Joja opening a building in Ridgeside, as well as telling us that she hoped we could live up to the valley's expectations. Faye and Bryle were seen arguing over at Pika's, and after all that we hired some help to save us some time every day petting the animals. Our final and beautiful husband June was at the hotel, so we swung by to say hello. We met Geo at the forest and took Carmen fishing outside Geo's house. Exploring here we found the inked fossil, heading home to ship off all the new forage we had found today. The south of the farm finally got the 2 quality sprinklers it was missing, and now we just need to fill in the other side of the path. We finished off all of the iridium sprinklers in the greenhouse and we slept. On day 14, the Queen of Sauce taught us how to make blackberry cobbler. Abigail gave us the pierogies with vegetables recipe. Pumpkins, chocofruit and dark tuff were harvested, shipped and stored. 2 jack-o'-lanterns were crafted, 1 to store away and 1 to get the rotten plant later. Another pineapple had grown, so it was eaten to get the pineapple slice stored away. Visiting Gabriel, he revealed to us his past and how he had unfortunately caused his mother to die after he headed into the mines, ending up needing her help while he was there. But all of us came together to support him and tell him that it was not his fault, allowing his mother to finally rest in peace. We bought star cactus from Pierre and met John, who had just arrived to live in Passerby. The new cactus we had bought went down after harvesting the cactus, taro and rice here, allowing us to ship off taro, barrel fruit, sea bean and opuntia before getting all qualities of new cactus stored away. Broccoli was planted down in the empty spots and we slept. On day 15, we received the watermelon caprice recipe and Zinnia invited me on a mining trip. Barley and durum were ready, and it looks like the bonbon flowers have color variants if grown instead of found through forage. It was another Monday sorting, so we got 1 of each quality of buckle break stored away. A skeletal tail and ancient drum went into artifacts, as did a faience plate. Orpiment, thunder egg, Arianite, Ghost Crystal, Baryite, and Alamite were added to minerals. A normal Hertwigia, Gold and Silver Grandier, Gold and Silver Coffin Fish, and Silver Yellowhead Jawfish went into unique fish, with 25 fish being added into the fish chest from the base game and Stardew Valley Expanded. Everything from the succulents and cactus mod were added into the chest in Ginger Island. We spent time reorganizing the shed, moving all the machines that we could that weren't currently processing items. 7 dried fruits were stored, as were dried bluebonnet and gentian, before stocking up for the next set of goods to dry with apricots, hot pepper, currants, fern olive, lapis, jade, amber, bearberries, cantaloupe, raspberries, and dragon fruit. 11 flowers were ready from the drying rack and were replaced with dusk lily, marshmallow, sunflower, and bonbons. A dwarf helm, arrow, starfish, and chewing stick were added to be turned into amber. 12 more fish were set to pickle. Grapes were set to turn into grapeseed oil. Strawberry, pomegranate, peach, crystal fruit, hot pepper, cherry, and orange jellies were stored, as were pickled onions, lentils, cucumbers, basil, and cowpeas. Hazelnuts, orange, and walnuts were set to turn into butter, and so ended the Monday sorting. The south farming area provided us with our first zucchini and early sweet gemberries after a fairy had come to visit. We got our first void feather and watched our sheep do some dancing, and stored and shipped honey, hazelnut, walnut, and orange butters that had been made today. And in addition to this, we finally completed the raven feather collection. We also shipped and stored today hedge witch polish, ice queen polish, dawn lipstick, before cutting trees and sleeping. Day 16 was a kind of short day. Today was the Stardew Valley Fair, so after our daily animal duties, we headed on over. We set up our stall, and as Lewis checked it over, we set about getting tickets for today. We maxed out at 9,999 tickets, buying the Fedora and Prismatic Pop recipe. But after that, our luck changed and our tickets plummeted, so we resolved to buy the new furniture catalog next year, as we still weren't ready to start decorating our farmhouses yet. Silver quality hazelnut butter was stored away, and we slept. Our walking ability increased as we slept, and we chose the Seasoned Runner perk. And on day 17, we helped Marnie and Shane find Daisy, but it turned out that she had been playing with Boxy. Afterwards, we bought 2 void dinosaurs called Dirt Boy and Brianna, followed by 2 rabbits that we called Cole and Geo. We chose Robin's project to complete this week, and also popped in to ask her for a coop upgrade in Grampleton, quickly running back to Marnie for auto grabbers and heaters for the Void Ranch. Venturing into the new swamp now that Stardew Valley Expanded was updated, we were initially excited finding sludge and swamp flowers before fleeing for our life, as the monsters here are very overpowered. The reorganization of the shed was finally completed, and a little cooking before bed saw us make a chocolate cake, raspberry tart, and blueberry cobbler before we slept. On day 18, we have new pink clematis honey with rain supplying mushrooms. We dug up our first bardic root, and heading into the mines to meet Zanir, we came across the Haven of Color together, a hidden flower paradise nestled in the mountain. Zinnia told us that she wanted to dedicate her life to finding hidden places such as this, and afterwards we bought and read the Dwarvish Safety Manual. Found a load of crackle apples on the way back to the farm, harvested pineapples to finally have one of each quality to store away, as well as getting one of each quality of crackle apple stored away too. Into the processing shed went 3 juicers with 56 crops to start making fruit and vegetable juice before we slept. On day 19, the passerby mod had updated, and it looks like the crops had errored, so I'm hoping this can be fixed before we start streaming in winter. Our first cotton was stored and shipped. The wandering trader provided us with a book of fishing. The rainy day gained us a maitake and woolly milk cap, and we sided with Robin about the perfect aesthetics of her newest creation. The deluxe coop was ordered from Robin, and we set up a chest for the void animal products, putting away our first normal void wool. We braved the swamp to hit that level 10 combat, finding our first swamp essence, ruby ring, and supernatural goo before we fled. But at least now we finally hit level 10 and can unlock mastery. Heading home, we found a destroying angel and black elfin saddle before we slept and chose Brute, our level 10 combat perk. Day 20 saw us invited again to the Ridgeside Gathering Festival, and the arid passerby crops had now died, so perhaps there's been a season change with these seeds. An iridium dinosaur egg, iridium void feather, and silver butter went into forever storage, and off to the festival we went. Here they had the banana sapling from last year, so of course we bought it. We got the savage and emerald ring, as well as a prismatic shard, and then a vampire ring, iridium sprinkler, and muscle remedy. We found Abigail in the graveyard where she'd been practicing her swordsmanship, revealing to us that she wanted to explore the mountain caves. And before bed, we ventured into the Mastery Cave, investing in the rancher profession with the Mastery Expanded mod, as well as the shepherd profession to get wool quicker, claiming that farming mastery for the Iridium Scythe too. And afterwards, as we still had some points remaining, we chose the geologist profession and mining mastery before sleeping. Day 21 saw us learn how to make crab cakes, and our first tiger nuts, habaneros, peanuts, and sweet potatoes were ready. The new crops were shipped with each quality being stored away. At the beach we found some anise seaweed and yet another void ghost pendant. We placed the coal needed to blow up the mountain boulder at Clint's after breaking lots of geodes and could get one more item into the museum. Before heading to Ginger Island we bought some jade cactus, digging up the cutest Junimo carving on the beach, planted down our banana sapling, harvested a whole load of repeat growing cactus and one-off cactus before planting on down the jade that we had just bought. All qualities of wax agave and star cactus got stored, and we fished here for a while to try and get some new fish, ending up with a Christmas tree worm, lunaloo, sea sponge, blue tang, baby lunaloo, and barred knife jaw. Shane got a beer to get his friendship back up, and we started finding our first chestnuts while on the way home, storing one away forever. The star cactus and wax agave was set to be forever preserved before we slept. It was the final sorting Monday on day 22, and we started off with adding a load of ingredients into the fridge. So here is what we could cook after all of these new ingredients: orange juice, giardiniera, honey glazed carrots, daikon salad, napa coleslaw, pumpkin bread, winter plate, watermelon caprese, conkeys, tomato soup, salad, cheese cauliflower, fried calamari, glazed yams, hash browns, complete breakfast, trout soup, pink cake, fried eel, blueberry tart, Autumn's Bounty, pumpkin soup, miner's treat, pale broth, plum pudding, pumpkin pie, radish salad, fruit salad, and crab cakes. We had new honey in the form of pink hollyhock, and we moved the items from the 6 crops for winter that were in various chests into the one chest that was housing the entire mod. Crafting in the form of an iron fence, gold bar, sonobobber, weathered floor, magnet, skull brazier, small hardwood fence, and iron bar was done. We spawned in pine syrup as we had hit the collection goal for the pine spruce mod, grapeseed oil, an amber arrow, solar lipstick, Libra lotion, Venus lip gloss, Pretty Princess polish, Sweet Sorceress polish, Uranus lip gloss, and Taurus lotion were shipped. 7 dried fruits were stored away, as well as 1 jam, 3 pickled vegetables, and 6 pickled fish. The amber helm, arrow, toothbrush, and star were stored forever, as was the grapeseed oil, and everlasting summer spangles and sunflowers were shipped, as well as stored alongside purple coneflowers, and the very busy Monday was done. In Cindersnap, we found a wood bluet and springcap mushroom before gifting the wizard a gold quality purple mushroom. The Void Rance expansion continued with 2 ducks called Max Frog, Dim Dim Duree after they joined the stream, and then it was time for chickens, with them getting called Omi Duck, Fallen Leaf, Cole, Walter, Just BR4, and Mika22 Mika, meaning that there are only 2 void chickens we need now to get the entire chicken collection. In town, Philip was encouraging George to keep up with his therapy appointments. We stocked up on sweet potatoes and chose the cultured yogurt request this week. Gold void wool was stored away. We planted down the potatoes, stored away an ancient seed that one of our dinosaurs had found, and we slept. It was raining on day 23 and we harvested our first soy, shipping a large amount of it off and storing one of each quality away, as well as getting the deluxe barn for Grampleton started. We found an oyster and horse mushroom, picked up our upgraded watering can, shipped off our first void cloth, and the wizard said he might teach us magic at some point in the future, and we helped Luna fix up her home. The shed got a few new enchanted crystals and preserve jars, and our first flower presses, adding a good amount of flowers to start getting pressed in those machines. We then got 3 restoration tables to improve artifact quality set up after a comment from Ben Victims said that we should get these artifacts being preserved earlier rather than later, as it can take quite a lot of time, so thank you for the tip there. Cranberries were placed down as the 6th and final crop to go in the greenhouse, and we slept. It was a rainy day on day 24 and we got our first Cosmos to ship off for completion, finding our first Scarlatina Bolette at the train station and Saffron Milkcap and Yellowfoot near the quarry. From Marlon we bought the next 2 versions of Grandpa's cane, got Cilia Strawberry, and from Pierre we bought some blue candles, aloe, and candelabra cactus. Ginger Island had new forage for us in the form of yellow mushrooms, fizzling berries, and wishtera, The cactus was planted as well as harvested while we were there, and at home all the new items we found got shipped off. All qualities of blue and yellow coral were stored away, crafting up the mega bomb, and explosive ammo for the craftables collection before heading to bed. On day 25, Emily asked us to join her for a date, and all of our sweet gem berries were finally ready, and we even completed the dinosaur egg collection. As we have 2 small sweet gem berry mods, it means we could set one of them being turned into jam, and we set another for being turned into wine. Another was added to turn into a polished gem, 2 rare discs were set up to turn into amber, and we asked Robin for another coop upgrade so we could get the final void coop animal that we were missing. We found our first cudgel in the trash, gave Silly their next strawberry, and saw Luna having a chat with Pierre about the delicious food he sells before we went for a walk around the town and hung out with her for the day. Pierre supplied us with some wine yeast as we need to start making it to get all the hundreds of wines that we can now make. Shane got a pumpkin he was requesting, and we met the Emperor for the first time in East Scarp. Eloise then gave us a tour of their animals, and Rosa and I went to then find Eloise after she had run off, leading us to a strange abandoned farm on the edge of town. Oliver had been requesting an artichoke, we found a party hat on the way to meet Lexi for the first time, and after we said hello, they were very happy to meet us, and I look forward to finding out their story. We joined Emily for our date and enjoyed watching the stars before we slept for the night. On day 26, we learned how to make a lentil bun, the wine yeast was set up to be self-replicating in the shed, and the amber disc could be shipped and stored. We had all the milk now for Marnie's yogurt request, but with the amount of modded milk we have, we couldn't fit it all in her fridge. So we'd have to come back tomorrow with a little more and hope we could finish it off. We sold to Pierre to get some extra cash, got a fancy new era item from the void animals, which myself and the chat thinks could be the void sheep trying to make void sheep milk, which shouldn't be possible to exist, but we stored it away anyway as we do want to keep one of every item, even if it is broken. The cash we had made from Pierre was used to get 2 void pigs, and we called them Rock, Collect and Barn, and we also bought the animal catalog to get it stored away before sleeping early these final few days of autumn. On day 27 we expanded the pineapple crops, and Rasmodius showed us some basic illusion magic. The Hat Mouse sold us a blue ribbon, chicken mask, polka bow, blue bonnet and watermelon band before we finally got all the milk Marnie needed crammed into her fridge. We ventured to East Scarp for Spirit's Eve, digging up some amber for the museum on the way, and bought a spirit torch when we arrived there. But I didn't see much else to this festival, so let me know if I was missing something glaringly obvious, and again we slept. The final day of autumn was now here, and on day 28 we learned how to make fiddlehead risotto, and we could harvest a large amount of sweet potatoes. The flowers from this season for the new honey were harvested and shipped, 1 of each quality of sweet potato was stored. We bought wheat from Pierre to keep the crop spots over to the next season, gave Susan a blueberry tart for her birthday, and Silly their next strawberry. The wheat was planted down, we filled the silos, watched a train head on by, and the autumn drew to a close. This was a month of many problems for sure, and a month of Emily refusing to let us divorce her for a while. But nonetheless, we have made tons of progress again, so let's look at all the new mods for the season first. We have 4 quality of life mods, one that changes grass colors between seasons, one to allow us to move animals from one farm to another. Grass will no longer disappear when eaten by animals, and we added a tool pouch to save on inventory space, though that will later be removed. For content, well, it's a decent amount. Bushes will now grow crystal berries in winter, animals now produce manure which can be turned into fertilizer. We have purchasable pedestals from Robin to be able to showcase the mods around our farms, a new look skill, the ability to pick up clutter such as rocks, weeds and ore nodes, though this causes as many problems as you're gonna see. We can grow mulberry trees to make silk, we have more crops from Tala's crops mod, wall mounted shelves to decorate the house, we can hang lanterns from trees and place them in the water, we have more cooking recipes which use mayo, and we finally added a cooking skill as well as 2 small expansions in the form of Diamond in the Rough and Sword and Sorcery, which adds their own set of crops, craftables, quests and NPCs. So let's dive into the season. On day 1, we looked over all the new NPCs we should need to meet, Emily gave us a crocus, and we danced on our farm together. Louis let us know that we can buy bee houses from Robin, though I immediately forget this, and in the mail we got the cherry tomato recipe, squash spaghetti, and PBJ sandwich recipe too. We also got the tool pouch and stored all our tools away inside. The pickup clutter mod had us place down some hay which we couldn't pick up again. We got our first crystal berries and Monday sorting began. 6 small pickled fish got stored, an iridium quality ancient doll, rare disc and trilobite were stored, all qualities of everlasting clematis, a purple coneflower and all-star cactus was stored, sweet gem jelly was shipped, 5 dried goods and 4 dried flowers were placed away, 6 forbidden makeup creations from Mount Vapius minerals got stored, and we set up a chest finally for juice, getting the first 6 juices placed inside. And all in all, not too busy of a Monday sort. We headed over to Pierre buying blue rose seeds, pansy, snapdragon, arctic raspberry, ochre, red carrot, sea buckthorn, yacon, yellow onion, mint, spaghetti squash, winter rose, giant snowdrop, lilac pansy, amaryllis and striped quill. We got the dehydrator recipe finally, the birch syrup recipe too. From Plentiful Harvest we bought parsley, broccoli, chard, lettuce, elderberry and silver gourd before heading to do some exploring. We found a rose pops on a bush, asked Robin for a deluxe coop, bought some item pedestals and set to work getting all those new crops down, including in the bee area for possible new honeys. The rotten plant from last season was stored, we picked up an artifact spot, watched our pickaxe and hoe disappear as we tried to put it in the tool pouch and slept the first day away. Our lost tools had gone into lost and found overnight and we maxed out our hearts with Emily on day 2. She asked us for 200 fiber for a secret gift she wanted to make for us. Tala had sent for us the kumquat tart recipe. The henchman was angry at us for getting him fired and we received a cryptic note from B about completing some challenges for him. We collected twigs and stones in front of Grandpa's shed, got a prize ticket and chose the island ingredients as our first request of the season. And that ticket got us 5 iridium bars before we collected our missing tools which had reverted back to their original quality. We spawned back in the correct tools, foraged at the beach, picked up a new artifact spot, spawned in another axe and hoe as they disappeared again. At Ginger Island we got the jewel from the west side, met Leo properly for the first time, got the golden walnut from his house, picked up weeds and some ocean mist grapes, and spent a good chunk of the day here collecting a few of the easy to get walnuts we hadn't gotten at the end of autumn. We used the walnuts to unlock the dig site, we picked up the different weeds and stones from here before clearing it out and getting our first fossilized leg. Golden walnuts in the area were gathered. We harvested all the cactus that was grown, picked up a muscle stone and headed home. A chest for the pickup clutter mod was made, we shipped our first ocean mist grape, added all quality of jade flower to be preserved forever and dried, and stored away all the clutter before sleeping. On day 3, Emily got the fiber they were asking for, we expanded the pineapples, stored away 6 different qualities of manure, and set up an area to start turning the excess manure into fertilizer for us. We had a hot cocoa with Susan, and visiting the Void Ranch, we found out our dinosaurs could find ancient seeds for us. We then completed the collection of manure, set our first batch of ancient fruit turning into seeds, and planted them down. And on the way to the market Palooza, we found our first chill bell. Here we bought a load of things for the collection, a traditional lantern, desert sunrise, dusty biker, creamsicle, goth cowboy, rustic, color of fall, neon nightmare, mayo, mutant, blue crop, the legend, crimson, obscure and rare shirt, and from Pierre we got the kitty ears, blue and white chicken hat, and the pink pirate hat before stocking up on passerby cemetery seeds. We got a skull display and 3 extractors for artisanal goods, bought all the mayo recipes from Gus, and a good selection of artisanal treats from Nikolai. We won the raffle getting a birch mini table and then headed home. In a bid to make this the season of upping our artisanal production, we crafted up some flour syrup makers, a kitchen mortar, and got them placed in the shed with the extractors before doing some cooking. And we cooked up the green stew, green smoothie, carp and mayo surprise, as well as a gingerbread man before sleeping. Our cooking leveled up as we slept, and on day 4 we filled up the kitchen mortar, flour syrup and extractors to start making new goods for us. We gathered more ginger on the island, freed Professor Snail, answered his quizzes for more walnuts, and made our first donation. We got another walnut using the slingshot, and climbing the mountain found 3 more. We got that shortcut unlocked, bought the ginger ale recipe, and made it to the summit where we met Lance for the first time and got that free prismatic shard. The pirates built us the volcano bridge, we harvested cactus, storing away the final aloe that we were missing, and all qualities of candelabra before sleeping on the island. On day 5 there was some more cactus to harvest, we got the aquamarine from the east side of the island, gathered a few more walnuts, caught our first seahorse, and headed on home. Candelabra cactus was set to preserve, a cinder shard was stored and shipped, as was a chill bell. And in the mail we got the recipe to make field pea succotash, Nikolai was asking for a choco fruit, and we also learned how to make a straw scarecrow. And the wizard was also asking us for an iridium bar. The Queen of Sauce showed us how to make rabbit au vin, we cooked up a pie crust, steamed rice and ginger ale, and then we slept. Luck leveled up as we slept, and on day 6 Lance was at the farm ready to give us his schedule. But I'm gonna stop you right there, as day 6 and 7 were a bust and needed redoing, so here is the why. For one thing, his schedule ended up stuck on the floor, as did a lobster Gus was requesting. I won't go into the detail about everything else we achieved on day 6, but after it all and sleeping into day 7, we lost everything outside of the farm. All our walls, all our bee houses, all our fences, everything that we had crafted and basically put down that wasn't a path. An unfortunate side effect of the pickup clutter mod had classed everything we had placed outside the farm as forage, and on the reset day of Sunday, it had all been deleted and got lost. And I wouldn't have been able to figure all of this out without the help of 2 members from my Discord, so I'm very grateful to them for all of their help. So let's do a redo of day 6 and 7, shall we? On day 6, we removed the pickup clutter mod and tool pouch, and on day 6 again, Lance was at our front door and gave us his schedule, which got properly stored away this time. We froze time to save our world from deletion, picking up every item outside the farm on stream. We met San and Mateo at the mines, which we definitely already hadn't done before, and I wasn't getting some sense of deja vu. And then we spent the evening placing it all back down to ensure it was no longer seen as forage, and that was the entirety of our day 6. On day 7, our world was saved, and we received some heaviest seeds in the mail from Lyle. We finally had all the crop spots in the greenhouse filled out. We asked Robin for a big barn, watched Marnie making some yogurt with all the milk we gave her last season. We bought a scaled quail from Marnie, completing the quail collection, naming it Adamus, and we got 2 rabbits, calling them Kiari and Sachi. We set up a load of salmon berries getting turned into pectin, stored an ancient seed from our dinosaurs, and spent the evening clearing out the farm quarry. Our luck leveled again as we slept, and on day 8 we received the kumquat upside down cake recipe and that all important yogurt jar recipe from Marnie. We got 5 iridium sprinklers down to increase our crop yields, spawned in a watering can as it was in the tool pouch mod we no longer had, and planted on down all our blue roses. Adamus, the original, exploded into meat, but their soul went into their new plumed quail body, and it was time for another Monday sorting. Void products got silver void wool. The dehydrator had honey added into it to get us some honeycomb. We added crocus, sweet pea, daffodil and dandelion to be turned into syrup. Into artifacts went an ancient doll and rare disc, silver quality prehistoric tool, and iridium dwarvish helm and scroll. Mugwort, pelican mint, thistle and valerian were forever stored, and oregano was shipped. All qualities of fairy fingers, gem sea cashew, jade, lapis, amber berries, as well as red onion were forever stored. Cave flowers, blue bonbons, and gem isle jasmine were also stored as well. Maple syrup went into the kitchen mortar, and we shipped almond cake, corn and pastry flour, pectin, rainbow sprinkles, and stored the rest away into the artisanal chest. At the Festival of Ice, we bought some wallpaper, frozen dreams, winter rug, winter dining table, wall scones, winter end table, truffle bar recipe, and 6 juniper seeds. We fished, won, shipped off some boba pearls, set caviar being made, and Emily had finally finished her secret project, gaining us the clothes only accessible through marriage to them. Cooking before bed, we made pineapple juice, void caviar toast, carrot cake, fugu, pasta primavera, broccoli cheese soup, and quiche, and then we headed on to sleep. Our cooking leveled up as we slept, and on day 9 the first of our new crops was ready. We could ship off yacon, yellow onion, spaghetti squash, red carrot, and ochre. We used the pedestals to get the sliced fruit, and Jojo mods showcased how we want them, and set about completing some errands. Pam got a battery, we had a date with Emily. Pierre hates Boxy. We bought Snapdragon Amaryllis striped cold chard and lettuce from Pierre, as well as a decent amount of sugar. Gus got a lobster, and we bought a random assortment of recipes from him. The cinema got 2 of the items it required. Clint processed a load of geodes. We got the prismatic shard into the museum, as well as 3 artifacts from Stardew Expanded. And we asked for a trash can upgrade, and this week chose the mysterious venture to complete. At Eastgard, we chatted to Eve and helped Jacob find a black cat before clearing out an area of the farm here, as we will be using this place for bush crops and fish ponds in the future. Haley insulted Pop, calling them a rat. We set up a chest to auto-collect the beach trash for us, and added the sugar to start the syrup making process, and slept. Our legs improved as we slept, and on day 10 our first elderberries were ready. We planted down the crops we bought yesterday, made our 3rd drying rack, dug up a fossilized apple, found our first ridge riser, and asked Robin for a deluxe barn and got the tree lantern recipe. We continued to work towards the island ingredients request. Nikolai got the choco fruit he was requesting, and Sebastian got a frozen tear for his birthday. and afterwards we saw a scene between Sebastian and Demetrius, which I'll be honest made me start liking Demetrius a little bit more. Chard was ready, so one was shipped, and each quality stored away, and before bed we did a little bit of cooking again, making mushroom rice, fries and ketchup, stuffed onion, fry bread, maypop sugar cookie, and then we slept. On day 11, Sebastian taught us the onigiri recipe, we harvested buckthorn, and added 9 new honeys to the collection. Sea buckthorn and lettuce were shipped, we collected our trash can, and asked for a hoe upgrade while we were there. We got the topaz from the north of the island while collecting more ginger, found the mummified frog, and realized the pickup clutter mod had despawned the gems we had already placed down. Don't get me wrong, the mod is kind of fun, I just added it a little bit too early before it was more stable, and that's entirely on me. Our first mango was ready, so we shipped it and invested in the agriculturalist perk in the mastery cave. The wizard got an iridium bar that he had requested. We found a new painting in the trash, and I can't remember when we realized this, but we're gonna have to pick up and put down everything on the farm as well, as at some point they have been classed as forage, and the final night of winter would delete the entire farm. On day 12, we learned how to make maple walnut bars. Arctic raspberries were harvested, shipped and stored. We bought the portrait of Emily and asked Robin to build as well. After talking to Gunther about the history of the valley, we bought our first 2 geese, naming them Sierra and Aleja, and began incubating our first gem geode. We filed for divorce, set down the Amanita mod in its final place, hung up our picture of Emily, stocked upon wood, and went to sleep for the night. In the mail on day 13, we learned how to make a baked potato from Gunther, and Willie asked us for a lingcod. The first of our winter roses were ready, so they were stored and shipped, and we completed the mysterious venture request from Marlin after giving him all the bombs he wanted. The golden hoe was collected, and we asked for a steel trash can, remembering today to buy from Sandy the winter crops that she sells from Ilysses Winter Crops mod. Pop got a birthday gift. We placed down the last iridium sprinkler needed next to the animal enclosure, and got some juniper berries planted down there. Silly got another strawberry, and foraging at Ridgeside allowed us to ship off a Ridgeside Clementine, Aurorian Iris, Sierra Wintergreen, and Frost Clump Berry from the shipping list. We stored away a golden animal cracker, and we slept again. On day 14, Zinnia was at our door with Silly, and they felt it was time to show Silly to the town, which we immediately did, which seemed to end the ancient feuds with the slimes. Due to this, Silly now knew how to make slime hearts and showed us how to make them, allowing us now to buy them from Pierre's store. It was Harvey's birthday, so he got a golden quality bearberry. On the island, we planted down taro, collected ginger, and donated the frog to Professor Snail. The illegal and forbidden void sheep cheese collection was completed, and at home that evening, Gabriel was there to give us some new recipes using the slime souls. A blood orange and slime heart was shipped, and we started working on a new crop area, planting on down 9 slime seeds before heading to bed. On day 15, we learned how to make pesto pasta and lasagna. Broccoli, amaryllis, and parsley were ready, so they got shipped and stored. We planted down radicchio and turnips, and our third Monday sorting began. Preserved silver and gold jade cactus, as well as normal wax agave, were stored, with a decent selection of other cactus and flowers set to be preserved forever. Our caviar was ready for the cinema, and sweet gem jelly was stored. Aloe, crackle apple, frost apple, barrel fruit, bahidaj, sea bean, opuntia, ocean mist, rose pops, moon gold apricot, gem sea cashew, slimy fruit, and calico pistachio were set to turn into jam, and on the drying rack we placed amaryllis, blue candle, swamp flower, zebra cactus, jade cactus, candelabra, and wax agave. Honeycomb and dried honeycomb was stored away. A chest was finally set up for all the pressed flowers before we added purple coneflower, winter rose, amaryllis, crocus, and sweet pea to be pressed. Dark Tough and Choco Fruit went into the extractors, and we also got a chest set up finally to forever store away all the fruit smoothies before adding hot pepper, currants, blackberries, coconuts, blackcurrant, hardy kiwi, maypop, rose hips, sea buckthorn, sweet granadilla, ground cherries, and crystal berries to be blended. The crystal ball had an Aries lotion to ship and more Forbidden Mount Vapios jewelry, replacing them with cinder shards, sea urchin, coral, daffodils, crocus, fiber, void essence, purple mushrooms, red mushrooms, crystal fruit, sea pea, solar essence, and coal. Carnation and chrysanthemums were added into the syrup making, 11 juices were stored, and a chest was set up for all the flower syrup. More ancient fruit was ready, so we shipped one off before ending the sorting Monday and seeing Harvey in the exercise class. We collected our steel trash can from Clint, chose manure research for this week's request, and gave Gunther a skeletal hand. The wizard got his ancient fruit he had requested, and in thanks he bestowed us with some blink fruits in return. At the night market we bought a good amount of new decor here and all the lantern recipes before buying the rest of Nikolai's artisanal goods. From Lupini we bought clouds and a few more decorations from the other traders, and we got those blink fruits planted down, opening up a new area of the farm before we slept. On day 16, a blink fruit was already ready, so we shipped it off. We asked Robin to move one of our sheds a little, and then asked for a new one to be built. Expanding our artisanal, we set down 3 wax cauldrons, placing a good amount of flowers in there to start the process of making new goods, and then we set up a compact mill too. We gathered more ginger on the island and gave the professor a ribcage, and back at the night market we bought Lupini's 1000 years from now before buying the suit of armor, stone parrot and cone hat. We finally had enough spare cash to erase Emily's mind that day, and we shared a snack with Zik afterwards before sleeping. On day 17 we had 2 new types of honey, and the wizard was asking the Junimos where they live. Clint found us 2 minerals that we were missing, opal and fluorapatite, and off we went to the island again to collect ginger and caught our first new piece of trash in a while. The final painting was bought from Lupini for year 2. We bought the stone owl and silkworm rack recipe, as well as a mulberry sapling before we headed home and slept for the night. On day 18, our first gem pigeon had hatched and was renamed Fiona Danger, which caused the original Fiona Danger to explode into meat, but at least now they have been resurrected into their final form. And we set up another void egg to incubate. The iridium gold and silver chicken meat was stored away, and one was shipped for completion. We harvested some turnips and shipped one off, cleared out an area at the beach, and got a cabin placed down there. At Grampleton we got the mulberry planted down, and we are still waiting on having time to properly decorate this area, but we are gonna get there eventually. We pet the void animals as we were behind on their friendship, and after making some money at Pierre's, got our second artisanal shed upgraded. Summer squash was added to juice and tomatoes to pickle to continue the raccoon quest line, and the shed got a loom ready to make candy floss with syrup in the future. Our first refreshment stand went into the second shed so we can start making iced teas and different juices with honey. We made our first water lanterns at the tree farm to light up the river, and I must say they do look kind of cute and beautiful. Afterwards, clearing away some trees with plans to make this area into the birch and fir tree farm. 3 tea processors, a tea kettle and cheese press then got put down to expand artisanal even more, and we slept. On day 19, we learned how to make winter duck and blooming onion, with Gus asking us for a coconut. We turned back on the ability to make iridium honey, harvested chard, planted turnips. The manure request from Maru was completed after we had collected some more today, and we gathered our first Mount Vapius goose egg, so we stored it and shipped the other. The wandering trader provided us with a pufferfish and a new plant. We set up the new tree farm, getting paths around the trees set down, stored away a bait and bobber book that we had dug up, and fruit and veg went into the refreshment stand as well as the tea processor. On day 20, for finishing Maru's request, she sent us a book which we read instantly, so we reset the day to try adding it onto a sign, fearing we wouldn't be able to get it again. But that failed, so we made a sign anyway with some manure to show we had collected the item. And yeah, if I hadn't already mentioned it, the pickup clutter mod had also deleted all our signs under the farm with our unique items, so we're gonna have to respawn those back in before spring begins. At Robin's, we asked for a mill and quickly collected our gold watering can before organizing our chest monster. The pickup clutter was placed down in the quarry. Clint got the remaining iridium he wanted for the summit boulder before we emptied out the cabin as best we could and transferred all the fish mods we had into the beach cabin, separating them all out into their different mods. We couldn't move the starter seeds that were in the cabin, so we'll need to add a mod to remove it, but finally we have some more of the farm organized and tidied away. The forever home for the Forage of Ferngil mod was also placed down, and we slept. The Queen of Swords tossed us bruschetta on day 21, and we reorganized the shed now that it had been upgraded, also adding in a charcoal kiln for our more artisanal creations. The first tea sachet was set to turn into tea, and from Pierre we got some bay, lilac and camellia saplings to expand East Scarp and our next bouquet. The saplings went down with a chest to automate them, and Victor was given a bouquet so we can start dating. We found a unicorn horn in the mountains, stored away our first silver goose egg, and set up the first blast chiller in the shed. We laid out an area to make sure grass doesn't grow in the spring for the pigs to dig up truffles, heard an explosion at the railway, and then we slept the night away. On the morning of day 22, Magnus said that he had been given permission to teach us warp magic. Our first silver gourds were ready, so 1 was shipped off and 3 were stored away, before finding our first iridium quality fertilizers after reading Maru's book. A gold void feather and our first gem pigeon feathers were stored, and it's time for the final sorting day of the season. A load of items went into the fridge, allowing us to cook sweet gem parfait, cranberry chutney, crocus jelly, pixie bitters, mango chutney, rose petal jelly, strawberry rhubarb jam, summery orange marmalade, blackberry mint jelly, horseradish pickle chips, mushroom kebab, spring onion soup, mayo cold pot, pesto pasta, soy meat, extra lucky lunch, asparagus quiche, chicken wing, buffalo wing, chapia, poppy seed muffin, bruschetta, and a rocky root coffee. The missing quality of coconut flour was stored away and brown sugar was shipped. An iridium prehistoric tool, glass shard, and fan got placed away, with 60 more artifacts being added to increase their quality. The skeletal tail and fossilized leg went to be covered in amber, with a normal golden mask, prehistoric tibia, vertebrate leg, and ancient sword getting stored. Dark Tough and Choco Extract were taken from the extruders with 8 more syrups stored. 50 more pressed flowers and 6 more juices were ready for storage. All the polished gems from Mount Vapus went away, with Morning Dew, Rosalia Palette, Violet Palette, and Wrath Blush getting shipped and stored. Everlasting Amaryllis was ready. The final missing blue quality of blue candle was added. 4 smoothies were stored away. Pine nuts, chili powder, applesauce, pepper, salt, shrimp paste, rose petal, ceremonial matcha, sakura tea sachets, and amazing apple juice were shipped before all getting stored away, with 4 types of soap as well. 1 of each ancient fruit was also stored. 1 was set to turn into jam, 1 into juice, and 4 into wine, and the final sorting day was done. Gunther received a fossilized apple, and we chose the Winter Flowers request from Ideen to complete this week. Finally able to visit the summit, we collected our first thistles and Winter Star Rose from here. We dug up a globby shirt, talked to Clint about his girl troubles, and Luna almost finally told us about her past. Krobus the dwarf underwent the Seal of Promise, and we found a pair of unlucky purple shorts in the sewers. We bought 5 recipes from Krobus, found our next mermaid pendant, and went to sleep. Our cooking leveled as we slept, and on day 23 we had a load of snapdragons to harvest. 1 of each was stored and shipped, and we also got our first gem pigeon feather shipped too. We harvested the slime hearts, checked out the mill, bought 2 Jersey cows called Jingo and Hobbit, caught our first giant crystal fish, and at the Vapius market bought the old shield and old minor lamp. Our next paper flowers in a vase, king chair, and some common grape starters. We maxed out Victor's friendship, so we proposed, cleared out some of East Scarp ready for our first fish pond, and slept again. On day 24, the Radisha was ready, so all qualities were stored. 1 was shipped, and the new Void chicken was born, and we called her Julia, and we got that first pond set down. At the booksellers, we were happy to see Myro's book for sale, also buying Way of the Wind Part 2, Mining Monthly, and the Stardew Valley Almanac. Gunther received 3 items for the Mount Babius collection, rewarding us with the fossil display. Over on the island, we got our first bananas and donated a fossilized spine that we had managed to dig up. We gave the gorilla 1 of those bananas, allowing us to have enough golden walnuts to pay for the island resort. And back at home, we ate a banana and mango to get the final 2 items for the sliced fruit mod, meaning that is now completed and we don't need to think about it. We could store away 1 of each quality of ocean mist, we hung up the fossil decor, made a final home for the 6 crops of winter mod, and we slept. Our luck leveled as we slept, and on day 25 we had a new meteor on the farm. Juniper was harvested, stored, and shipped. The old meteor was broken up so we could use this area for a new coop in the future. We could add a golden quality gem pigeon feather to the collection, made 2 more blast chillers which we finally set to work, and off to the feast of the Winter Star we went. We bought the light string, pine, ornate window, and other items from here that we didn't already have. Got the peppermint hot cocoa recipe, and gave Kaya her secret gift, delicious spruce pine wine. And from Nikolai we got an eggplant parmesan. We quickly cooked up some sushi rice, and then we slept. Again, our legs got better as we slept, and on day 26 we were married for the 3rd time, also learning the stuffed bell pepper recipe in the mail. The wandering trader had a golden aura grape for us, finding another rare unicorn horn at the bus stop and our first soulberries while we were there. We foraged at the summit again, and at the island we almost finished off the island ingredients request and dropped off the crocus to finish off Ideen's winter flowers request too. Trading in a ticket got us another iridium sprinkler which went down into Grandpa's shed. The forage chest was upgraded, and we started making a layout for the area close to the lightning rods before sleeping. On day 27, Demetrius was asking for a 3-eyed fish. We got some new paths laid down and designated an area for the everlasting flower mod, and I'm hoping to put some crystals here later to finish it all off. We got the final piece of ginger we needed, also finding a snake skull for the professor before completing the totem challenge on the island. From Marnie we bought 2 Holstein cows, naming them Waffle and Cat 607, gave Sophia a fairy rose for her birthday, maxing out her friendship, buying 5 quality sprinklers from her for the farm, and on the way home we found Leah's Whittler, receiving some fairy dust from the raccoons for finishing their next request as well. A few of those sprinklers we had bought got placed down, and we added 8 new kegs into the money making shed, as we are still struggling at time for money, but we do have a game plan for this going into year 3 after a bit of help and advice from those over on my Discord. And then we come to the final day of winter. It was the final day and we learned how to make shrimp cocktail today, immediately getting it cooked and stored away. And as it was the last day, the winter flowers got harvested with 7 more iridium honeys ready for forever storage. Our glitching blue roses provided us with 886 of them, so we stored 1 of each, shipped 1, kept a good amount and threw 600 into the river. But with any luck, we can now focus on processing the 6 crops for winter mod items into artisanal goods now, and we won't have to grow them ever again. We bought the blueberries painting from the wandering trader and our next mulberry sapling before buying our first white llama called Cat from Marnie and a brown one called Florence. From Robin, we paid for a house upgrade, stocked up on sugar, set down 3 sugar boilers, planted the second mulberry, added an autopetter into the void coop as it was missing one, and then it was off to the Ember of resolutions. So there you have it. Another year in the valley has gone. We are ramping up artisanal slowly. We have our first fish pond on the go, a good number of animals checked off, and the museum is very close to completion. As it stands, even though we will keep adding mods for a while longer, we are at 20% completion for this challenge, but that was the easy part. Things are only going to get harder from now on. After all, we have only completed 3 out of the 94 mods we have so far. It's been another fun year and I have loved hanging out with you all on stream, so I shall see you all again soon in the next stream or the next video. Bye for now. See you again soon.